Agree to Disagree, the flagship, only on A2D Radio. Uncle Sweeps, Nick DelGozzo, the legendary Brian Wilson, and the fucking man himself, Tom Arnone. These three guys from Jersey bringing you real talk with no agenda. You don't like them? Tough shit. It's their show, and they're going to say whatever the hell they goddamn want.
Welcome in, everybody. Agree to Disagree, only on A2D Radio, all still live from our own Real Talk studios. Every Sunday, though, we're brought to you by our doc, Make Him Yours. That's Dr. Paul Vidal, Specialized Physical Therapy, LLC, Burlington, Cherry Hill, Princeton locations. Find on the web, specializedphysicaltherapy.com. We'll have the doc on around 1:30-ish, talk some Eagles injuries, etc. A week away. Next Sunday, 20 minutes from now, about 24 hours from now, the Eagles open up and the NFL season opens up. So we're going to talk heavy Eagles to get us started today, but later on the show, we got a ton to talk about too as well. So Tom Arnone, Nick DelGozzo, Brian Wilson, Greg Milakovic, the family out there joining us. Let's go over it all. Later on, Crumb in a week, like we do every Sunday. We'll give you Phillies, Mets, live reactions throughout the game as well. Flyers lose Game 7 last night. We talked about it for a long time during the game and after the game. This is an effort game, right? Game 7s are effort games. I don't know if the effort was necessarily there in Game 7 when you register 16 shots. So talk a little Flyers. But Eagles season is upon us. It's here. It's a week away. Does Chase Young have 1 million sacks next week? We got a lot to talk about Eagles-wise. But our poll question brought to you by Embark Services, AMBUCK Services.com, 20% off. Tell them the boys from A2D Radio sent you. That's ambuckservices.com. Our poll question, Howie Roseman should be held accountable for his draft blunders. Agree or disagree? Let us know. Facebook, YouTube, Twitter, Twitch. That's where we're live and everywhere you get your podcast. You can find us there as well. Like, subscribe, follow. You know the deal. Chime in with your comments, and let's get started on some Eagles. So Howie Roseman should be held accountable for his draft blunders. I agree. At this point, when you're $64 million over the cap next year, it comes down to your draft picks change your organization moving forward. That allows you to move on from big contracts. That allows you to move on from different things. It allows you not to have to go in the free agency, right, constantly to fill your roster out. And it's a roster that's had to dive into free agency a ton because of his blunders as a general manager on draft day. I said he does other things extremely well. We know the other things he does extremely well. But on draft day, at this point, and after, a guy like Sidney Jones gets released yesterday, that's on him, though. I mean, I know it's on the player, too, but he drafted the player. So, it all comes back on him. The numerous first-round picks that are right? Your second-round picks that are and your later-round picks that are just non-existent. Some of it has to go to him. I know he won a Super Bowl in this city, and nobody's going to take that away from him. But now, when you're coming up into make or break time, when you're putting a new roster together, right, and you're trying to get younger, like he talked about, that's what he talked about. So now on draft day, you got to hit, and you got to hit pretty consistently too, especially in your first, second, third rounds. You got to leave with impact guys. And if I look up and down the guys he's picked over the last 3 to 4 years, it's tough to find your impact guys, like truly impact guys. Miles Sanders, yeah, after 1 year, impact guy, I get it. J.J. Arcega-Whiteside, we don't know. Dallas Goedert is good. Impactful, sure, a little bit, but great or special. The jury's out, right? Derek Barnett. We can't run away from the big plays in the postseason and the Super Bowl. We can't run from it, but consistency, has he proven it? No. Then I look at my offensive line. You go draft a left tackle, a DN. They're supposed to be the things that this organization has hit on in the past on why we were able to win a Super Bowl. But guess what? Andre Dillard right now looks like a whiff. This looks like a whiff. I don't got a crystal ball, but right now it looks like a whiff. Derek Barnett looks like, I don't know. Nelson Aguilar, not on the team anymore. The list goes on. So you can't get younger when you can't draft. So the poll, absolutely needs to be held accountable. And he might only get one more draft for me, if that, because the proof's in the pudding. I mean, J.J. Arcega-White has come out and catch 60 balls now, and Miles Sanders and Dallas got out that big years to make up for your numerous misses. And I know every organization misses, right? But the bad ones miss a lot. The bad ones miss a lot. And this is becoming missing a lot. And the bad ones miss early and often. You're talking about Derek Brown at the top 15 pick. A top 15 pick. That can't be a miss. And we don't have to talk about where guys are slotted, but first round, second round guys, when you're trying to get younger, cannot be misses. And what we've witnessed over the last 3 to 4 years is way too many misses. And now Jalen Reagor, we don't know. We don't know what he's going to be, but he's got to be a stud for this guy to continue on being the general manager of this football team. Has to be. So family, chime in to our poll. Howie Roseman should be held accountable for his draft blunders. Agree or disagree? Tell us your excitement for next week. We'll give our predictions, some players of the game for next week as well, because we'll be on after the game. So, we'll give our preview for Eagles Redskins, throughout this show as well. But right to our poll, Howie Roseman should be held accountable for his draft blunders. Agree or disagree, boys? Whoever wants to go next,
yeah, I don't know. An outstanding three, and that's not just on him. That's any GM. Right, if you're the guy that's shopping for the thing, you're the guy that's the head, up top. You're not the owner. You know what I mean. But you're the head of the football operation, so to speak. You know what I mean. Like you're the guy that's making the decisions. Yeah, and I know there's you got to have your head football coach, and you guys got to be on the same page, and there's people in the room. I get it, but at the end of the day, you're the guy that's putting your stamp on it and saying, hey, listen, this is the guy we're going with. You know what I mean. Not this is the guy. Is the guy Doug wants, you know what I mean? Like if that's the case, then just step aside and say like, hey, on draft day, I'm going to handle all the finances and I'm going to handle the cap space and everything else, financially. But football decisions we're going to leave to other people, right? And just eat. And then if that's the case, and you remove yourself from there. All right, which is obviously, astronomical. It's not going to happen. That's not going to, what I mean? Like, so obviously I'm just, throwing that hypothetical out there. Nobody's going to do that. But if that's, you can't just, if you're not the guy, if you're not involved and you're not making the decisions, then, but your name's on it, then you're a jackass. Right? And, so you have to take accountability. And like I said, that's not just him. To me, that's any GM in any sport. You know what I mean? Like, you're the guy pulling the plug on trades, draft day, what I mean? Like, like you said, hit or misses, a lot of that's on the players. I don't take anything away from, we don't run from that. You know what I mean? We're not guys that are going to, give players passes. You know what I mean? Like, that's not, at least I know I'm not, you know what I mean? Like, if you can't play, you can't play, you know what I mean? But so it happens, in all drafts, where there's guys that you miss on, what I mean? It happens, right? But it can't happen that much, like you said, and very fortunate, Eagle fans should be very fortunate that, a lot of these, even when a lot of these misses, it's still a good football team. We're able to, obviously win a Super Bowl and then still be there year in and year out. So you give Doug credit and his staff credit and the guys that, the players that are there keeping that nucleus together, you know what I mean? But like I said, there's a lot of things that are hindsight's 2020, you know what I mean? And I'm not, there's no puffing here. I was telling Greg yesterday, you know what I mean? Like, but to me, like the Sidney Jones thing, like to me, the Achilles, that was it. That was no bueno for me. You know what I mean? Like I just drive by that, you know what I mean? Like I understand, like people are like, hey, you take a flyer, second round, this guy was a first round talent. Not when you're dealing with an Achilles, you know what I mean? And obviously he got healthy and he just couldn't play at all. You know what I mean? So, who knows if it was psychological, you never got over the hump, or you just didn't play anybody at Washington. I have no idea. Nobody will ever know. You know what I mean? But that Achilles keeps me driving. You know what I mean? And that's easy, to say now. I get it. You know what I mean? But that's 3 years ago that kept me driving. You know what I mean? So.
Yeah. Well, I just look at it like sometimes the fork meets the road. And yes, listen, Howie Roseman won a Super Bowl here. I get it. All right. But a lot of them picks too that were the core part of that run weren't necessarily his guys per se. You know what I mean? We don't know whose guys they are. We just never will know that answer. If they're fully chip draft picks, if they're fully Howie draft picks, nobody's ever going to know the answer. But he won a Super Bowl, so I'm not going to take anything away from him.
And you can't have both. If you're going to kill him, then you got to give him credit too. So that's what I'm saying. If you're in, you're in on both sides,
Yeah, so I'm not going to all I'm going to do is reset him, right? So I'm going to reset him after the Super Bowl. Okay, so what have you done? Listen, we can't live in the past. I know we finally got our Super Bowl, but we can't be peaches and cream now and not want to get there again, right? So we now have to hold guys accountable that aren't living up to expectations. Well, when it comes to draft day, sometimes a fork meets the road, and it's just that obvious since the Super Bowl, he has struggled to find impact players on draft day. And listen, it could all change this year. Maybe some of these guys are impact guys. I don't know. And we're going to find out. But he's only got another one left. I'm telling you. He's not going to continue to have free passes until either somebody else is then brought in again to do it or help him with it, or he's no longer the general manager here. It's going to be one of the two, or some of these picks surprise us this year and really step up. So, Will, Greg, to the poll, agree or disagree?
I agree, but like you said, Sweeps, you got to, if you're going to kill him for a draft, you got to commend him on the fact that he's done a good job with free agents, and obviously we won a Super Bowl. But yeah, listen, we missed too many picks. Obviously, I don't think we've drafted a good corner in 2 decades. We constantly miss, and like you said, you can miss in the 6th and 7th. Everyone does. You can't miss in the 1st and 2nd. You got to at least get guys that contribute to your team, and we haven't been doing that. So. Like major contributors. So, yeah, I mean, definitely. I agree to the poll. Howie's on thin ice when it comes to drafting with me. And like you said, Tom, I mean, if we keep missing it, obviously this draft's a big one. You got to see what Rager does. And then, he took a chance by drafting a QB early. So we'll see how that goes. And what their plans are there. I don't think any of us even really know. So, we'll see, because that's a big pick. A lot of guys on the board that could have helped them there in the 2nd round, and we decided to go with the QB when our best player is a quarterback. So I don't know. I never was a big Howie guy to begin with. I give him the props for the fact that he did win a Super Bowl, and he's very good in free agency. He is, but his drafting has been poor throughout. Yeah. So yeah, he's on thin ice with me.
No, you're right.
You can draft better than he's drafted.
You said at 21, it's a position, as much as you needed wideouts and you want to give Carson some weapons, I mean? There's 2 linebackers right there. Like, in the next 10 years, if those guys turn out to be Ray Lewis type guys, I'm not giving them those comparisons, you know what I mean? But there were 2 stud linebackers, in a position of need right there, almost more than wide receiver, you know what I mean? Like, I know they get banged up and stuff like that, but, this was a deep wide receiver class, you know what I mean? Like, those 2 linebackers that's where guys thought, that's where we were kind of leaning to, you know what I mean? Like, that's a Queen and a Murray spot right there. You know what I mean? If those guys turn out to be, 10-year all pros, I won't compare them to Ray Lewis. I'm saying if they turn out to be 10-year all pros, then it's like, whoa, you know what I mean? That's even a bigger kick in the dick.
No, absolutely. Kevo says, and Greg, go in a second here. I just want to read this off real fast. You will be the same people missing the fuck out of Howie when the next guy isn't even close. Well, hold on a second. Nobody here, and I think I started off by saying, Howie. And then I've said that there's things he does extremely well. He just stinks on draft day, right? I mean, that's not fair to say. Is anybody running him out of town? Or did I say, how many more drafts do you give him until you either bring somebody in to help him again, or you fire? There's only 2 options. I don't think he's going to get fired. I'm just telling you how the 2 options work. You either bring somebody in to help him, or they relieve him of his duties. That's how it works. Nobody's running him out of town here. But I'm the same way as Wells. I've been critical of Howie's flaws before the Super Bowl. So it's not like this is something new. And I've also given him a ton of credit for the moves he makes in free agency and trades. He's great trade-wise. He's always great trade-wise. To go out and get a guy like Darius Slay. And listen, there's going to be some negativity about Howie right now. But Jay Trillo said something. And listen, I'm not running from shit this year. I'll talk about the $64 million issue next year. But this year, this football team's ready to win and ready to play. So you can talk about whatever you want next year. Like $64 million. I don't know what direction we're going. It doesn't look good, right? But right now, JJ, you think to come on here and assume sweep talk. You're
doing fine.
You're blind, baby. You're blind because Dallas ain't this 12-win football team on paper either. This is both 10, 11-win teams that are going to fight to the end for this division again. So if anybody thinks Eagles-wise or Cowboys-wise the other way, you all need to buy a couple clues, including Eagles fans, because this is going to be tight neck race. This is going to be tight. And I can't be a homer and say, oh, yeah, we're sweeping Dallas. No, we're not. We're probably going to split. We're probably going to split. This is how it works. We're both evenly matched football teams right now. Both have good defenses. Both offenses could be exciting, right? So, we're going to find out. We're going to find out. But, right now, on paper, I look at these teams as pretty evenly matched right now. Cowboys have had some big losses, too. Gerald McCoy gone. They just put one of their tackles on IR, or one of their linemen, offensive lineman was a Collins. So this isn't all like easy money for Dallas right now. What did I miss? That's two big injuries. Gerald McCoy and a lineman. You're right in the same boat as us. Hey, how you guys doing?
And your secondary stinks.
I think Sean Lee as well. Not news.
Dallas offense very good, better than ours on paper for sure, but their secondary stinks, and we have the better quarterback. So I'll take that. I'll take that. Well, I'll go to battle with that. You win this leg with the quarterback. Fact.
We would rather gritty. We would rather have a project linebacker or a stud like McQueen. Yeah, we would not. We do not want the quarterback, and we all stand by it. We did not want the quarterback, but that's just another indictment right now on him as a general manager. Again, not trying to fire the guy, just trying to say, hey, can somebody get him some help? Because this is just becoming a glaring issue. Go ahead, Greg, to the poll. Howie Roseman should be held accountable for his draft blunders, and whatever you think accountable is, fire it out there.
Yeah, no, I completely agree. I, like a lot of you guys, have been on, been critical of Howie well before the Super Bowl. Everything that he's been, outside of the money side, which is what, again, he does well. He doesn't draft well, and this is where it comes back, right? 2017, we now know that we're stuck with two guys. Derek Barnett, who is, let's call it, underachieved for a top 15 pick, right? If we don't re-sign him,
that's being nice.
If we don't re-sign him, then that goes down as a bust. If he doesn't get a second contract with us, that goes down as a bust. And then Nate Gerry in the fifth round. 2018 is kind of up in the air.
Been a decent pick for where we got him, considering he's a
relative, yeah.
Well, hold on real quick, Greg, and then continue. But that's the problem, right? Is that these late round guys that sort of us as a fan base are like, whoa, it's a steal because where he was drafted, blah blah blah. And he gets big time snaps on this football team, blah 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 blah. That's all well and good, but moving forward, you're not going to win with 5th, 6th, 7th round picks. You need to win with your money picks. You need to start nailing some money picks. That's where you usually find the stars. First 3 rounds. After that, it's a real crapshoot to try to find stars, right? First 3 rounds, you can find stars. Teams do it all the time. It's been happening for years. There's been Hall of Famers drafted in the 2nd, 3rd round. So you can find them, right? But he hasn't. And we fall in love with guys who were later round picks because they end up playing crucial minutes for us. And we're like, well, look, it's a hit. It's a hit. Is it? Go ahead, Greg.
No, that was just even the 2017 Super Bowl. He hit on every single free agent signing and or trade that came in that year. You know what I mean? And that kind of elevated us and put us over the top because it wasn't, Derek Barnett had that, had one play. You know what I mean? That one play. And he played well throughout the year, but he wasn't a top 15. He wasn't a top 15 pick. Carson obviously is where he's going to hitch his wagon to. He made those moves to go up and get Carson, and that was right. That was the right thing to do because it obviously has set us up to have our franchise quarterback and our guy to run this offense for the next 10 years. But outside of that, if you look down the drafts, he does not draft very well. And this draft, of course, obviously everybody made the team because they had so much turnover because of the cap hell that we're in next year because of having to make trades and sign free agents and extend people after trades because the draft picks don't work out.
No, absolutely. Jade says only one more than the Eagles, boys. 8-8. Boys 8-8, Birds 7-9. Yeah, stop it. I don't want the division if I'm 8-8. You take it back. Take it back. I'll take it. But you can really take it back. Power Terror says Derek Barnett is a joke. Hasn't been good. Good. Kevo, it's going to be a dogfight, and don't let the Giants be hanging around. True. Very little sleeperish team. I don't think
they'll have a good offense.
They're like a year. They're like a year away from being like a competitor, in my opinion. But they're right there because their offense could be dangerous. We don't know. Time will tell, right?
And what jump does Danny Dimes make?
Yeah. What jump? Yup, Greg.
What jump does he make? Does he make the Sam Darnold jump where it was a little bit and the Jets were competitive, or is it a major jump to your point, Tom? Make them even more dangerous than maybe they look.
And the defense, a little Swiss cheese a little bit, still a tiny bit. Well, I mean, they've gotten better. I mean, obviously, they just signed what's his face? What corner they just signed? I'm drawing a blank now. Too early in the day for shows. It feels like. They just signed Logan Ryan. I mean, Logan Ryan, a good pickup for them. Where they're at. So I mean,
winner.
Yeah. So definitely a better football team. And guess what? I mean, I know nobody wants to admit it. But the team we play week 1 is a better football team. They're tougher because their defense their front is loaded. Now we'll see about the other issues they had, but right now their front is loaded, and if they can get after the quarterback, they're going to be a team that can be. I'm not going to say they're not a playoff team, but they can be a very competitive football team and give teams run for their money in the Redskins, and they could very well give us a run for our money week 1. So,
They will.
Getting more to comments. Yusuf says the Washington football team is a sleeper. RD can win his game. Yeah, but your offense, I don't think is good enough to win you anything. So I mean, that's where you drop the ball this year when you talk about Washington. Sorry, I can't even say the Red.
I think their secondary is not very good either. Their front 7 is very good, and that's where they're gonna that's probably where they're gonna get their wins if they get after the quarterback and cause turnovers.
Yeah,
because I think their back end's a little suspect.
Yeah, big time. Pop says Washington always plays us tough. No, absolutely,
always.
Absolutely, Pop.
And what up, Pop? We'll give our predictions, player of the game, offensive, defense, throughout the show here, and you guys can as well because it's fun to talk about. I mean, it snuck up on us. Just with everything going on.
Doesn't even seem like it's ready to be football, right? Like there's been no preseason games. Obviously, we're watching other sports playoffs. It's very strange. But hey, we're happy that it's about to start, though. Let's go.
Adam, I'll tell you something. He says you can't say Redskins anymore. Right? Joking around, but I mean, I might say it through all 16 weeks by accident. You know what I'm saying? So I mean, don't expect me. It's muscle memory at this point. I've been saying something my whole life. You know what I mean? So now it's like the muscle memory of having to stop it. So. Don't expect that to change anytime soon. Brink said they're +7. The Washington is a +7, and he would bet him if he had to. Well, that means we'll go Eagles. That means we'll go Birds on that one. Manny Martinez. That's a perfect example of how you draft. All Washington's first round picks are hitting on the defensive side. Yeah, I mean they stuck up. They stayed up front, similar to what like the Niners have done a little bit, and they've stayed up.
Better hit top 5 picks.
Yeah, I mean you better. I mean it's a lot easier drafting in top 5 than it is, in the 20s.
It's tougher when you make the playoffs to draft.
Yeah, but I mean they've done a good job.
Washington wouldn't know that.
Yeah, but they've done a good job though, and again they don't know what's playoff field.
I just want to take a couple pokes there. That's all.
No way.
Nobody said Washington's a better football team. Spike Eagles?
No, absolutely not.
I said they're a better football team.
Washington is a better football team than they were last year.
Yeah, they're a better football team. They're more competitive than they were last year. Listen, it's the Eagles and Cowboys for this division, so nobody's running from that. I mean, listen, we're Eagles fans here.
I would think that Washington and the Giants are both a year away still from probably where they want to be. Like Greg said, though, Danny Dimes played pretty well as a rookie. If he plays even better, the Giants could be very dangerous, and I expect their offense to be good. I think Saquon's going to have a big year. But, again, their defense is weak, and the Washington's secondary is weak, and we don't really know what they have yet offensively. Obviously, they just lost Darius Geis as well. They cut AP. So who's their starting running back? I don't even know.
Chris Thompson.
I mean, but he's kind of a gadget back, like a third down.
Oh, I know. I'm trying to think of who's on the roster.
I don't even know.
It could be the Gibson kid. I think it's a Gibson kid from Memphis, right? I think.
Is it okay?
Antonio Gibson, I think.
Yeah, good for them. I mean, I don't know who the hell it is, and that tells you a lot. Hold on. Adam says he's projecting 6-9 for the Eagles. I mean, 6-10 for the Eagles. Adam, that's a lot of negativity. I know we lost Brooks and we lost Dillard, but this is still a 10-win football team. And I'll say it again, like
we have injuries every year.
When you have the ability to be a top 10 defense, now time will tell if they are, right? But when you have the looks of possibly being able to be that, and a franchise quarterback, and a great head coach, you're usually right in the mix. I mean, it's usually the recipe for being competitive and being a 10-win team. Usually, right? Usually, if you have them three things go your way, right? Well, we already know we have a great head coach. We have a franchise quarterback if he stays on the field, right? And we have the looks of what could be, what we think could be a top 10 defense-ish, right? Now,
I don't know if we're top 10 D, Tommy. I'd love to say that, but
I'm saying right there though, Wills. With Coleman,
I think our front is tough.
Well, the additions of Coleman and Slay put you right there, though. The additions
we still have secondary. I'd say we have secondary questions. We have safety questions. We have linebacker questions. I don't know if we're top 10. I think that we can be a solid defense, and if we get after the quarterback like we want to, obviously that alleviates some of the concern on the back end. And Slay should really help with shutting down the number one receiver for the other team. So I like that.
Coleman helps a lot too.
Top 10 though, I don't know.
Oh, I'm thinking right on the outskirts. Like I'm thinking right there
You're
though.
You're giving Coleman a lot more than what he is. He's an okay player.
Not an okay player in the slot though. Not an okay player.
I think he's okay.
I think he's way better than what we've had in the slot. I think way better than what we've had in the slot.
Well, best slot guy we've had since we won the Super Bowl. With Patrick Robinson.
Yeah, but I mean, I'm not trying to give him too much credit. Obviously, there's linebacker holes big time when our best linebacker retired, right? Who's your second corner? We don't know on the outside, right? And I guess there's obviously the question mark about Jalen playing safety, even though I think it's going to be a good transition for him. And you're right. I mean, up front, we look to be loaded up and a team that's able to get after the quarterback. There's still question marks. Right, like there is for every football team, I think, around the league. Outside of maybe like a couple, there's going to be question marks on both sides of your, offense and defense. But I think we have the makings though of a team that should be a 10-11 win team.
I think we might see some sloppy play first week from just all the way around the league because we haven't really seen these guys play. There's no preseason games. I'm kind of curious to see how they go, like how some teams look.
Let's go, Manny.
Yeah, Manny's wearing his A2D Philadelphia QB Factor. You guys can get that right at PhillyDrinkers.com. A2D has his own store there, so go on. We got tons of stuff, tumblers, shirts, hats, everything. Everything you can think of. Stickers, the whole nine. Yes, I mean, that's just what I think. I don't think this, I don't think this team, even though having a few injuries early on and big ones, I don't think it takes away from what this talent should be, and it still should be a team that has the ability to win the NFC East. You know what I mean? That's all I'm saying. We can be.
I fully agree.
Top 10, top 15 defense, whatever. But they have the makings of a team that should be able to compete and if not win the NFC East. And it's going to come down to
we have a star quarterback, and that's how you win this league. That's just. I mean, people want to hate on Wentz. I understand that he hasn't really played in the playoffs yet, and obviously. We need him to, but he's a star quarterback, and you win this league with star quarterbacks. So I expect the offense to play very well. I expect Wentz to play very well, and then if the defense is good, then we'll be very good.
Who's your guys' other? I want to get a win total from you guys in a second too. But who's your guys' other outside corner?
Probably Maddox, right?
Yeah, I guess
by default it's got to be well, I guess maybe they move Roby to the outside because of just they're gonna roll with those two, and then when they need to go to a third or fourth corner, then they'll move around people to the slot and outside. You know what I mean?
I don't know.
I don't.
That's the one. I mean, but that's really the one thing that would separate Roby.
Cravon.
Roby's being the slot guy, you know what I mean? And you put him outside, and he's not, you know what I mean? Like I said, then he's just a dude, you know what I mean? Like Willie, you know what I mean? Like I'm saying, you know what I mean? Like if you want to give him credit, I'm not killing him. I'm saying he's good. He is good in the slot, you know what I mean? So then when you get caught moving a guy to where he's not as comfortable, and then all of a sudden he gets he starts getting exposed out there. I don't know, you know what I mean?
It's like when we used to move Malcolm to the slot.
Yeah.
And it's like, why are we doing that? He's our best secondary player. You move him to the slot, he becomes okay It's like you don't want to do that. Play to their strength. Play to their strength.
Yeah.
And when his nickname is Slot God, I don't really want to move him from what.
No, and that's where and I'm not crowning Sid, but that's where at least Sid was played on the outside. So the fact of, in theory, of having him out there with Roby in the slot at least made sense. Obviously, Sid couldn't cut it and is not here anymore, but that's at least in theory what it hopefully would have maybe played out like.
Yeah,
Does
he clearly
Frenchie go out
stinks.
there? Does Frenchie go outside?
As of right now, according to ESPN, they got Slay and Maddox as your left and right outside corners.
That's where I was landing. I mean,
That's what I figured. Yeah,
not being in camp, not being around them. I figured that's.
I just feel like he's too. I don't know. I just feel like he's too small for the outside. We're gonna find out. We're gonna find out. I mean, I'm not saying he isn't. He just hasn't played a lot of outside. He's been in the slot so much early on in his career, Vontae, that I'm interested to see how he can play outside. I'm not saying he can't. It's just a question mark. There's a question mark on who he is outside because we haven't seen it yet. So, but when you have a number one corner on the other side and a guy who's playing the slot and been really good at it his whole career, it puts a little less pressure. That's what I thought it would be, a little less pressure on Sidney if he was the guy, or whoever the other guy is. I feel like there's a little less pressure because you do have some really good vets on the back end. I mean, when you talk about Slay, Coleman, and Rodney, I mean, you got three really good vets back there too, Wills. I know there's some unknowns. Jalen, still a good vet in terms of leadership-wise, still a good vet. We don't know what he's going to be on the back end, but I think
starter on a Super Bowl winning team.
Yeah, so everything in front of him, I think, is going to make life better for him, right? You know, he's not a guy who shies away from tackling. So, I mean, that part of the safety game shouldn't be too big of an adjustment. You're right. I think he'll get some slot run too. I think he'll be like mixing the box sometimes. Same with Rodney. So, I mean, they have some moving parts. It's just going to be their big thing. I think their two biggest question marks defensively is who the hell are your linebackers, right? So that's like a 3-part problem, but really more of a 2-part problem in 2020 NFL. But who are your linebackers and who's your outside corner? Who's your other outside corner? They're your biggest question marks defensively going into 2020.
Yeah.
And hopefully somebody steps up on all you need is one linebacker to really step up and say, hey, I'm going to be the guy. You don't need three to be the Cowboys in the 90s running out linebackers, 3 of them going sideline to sideline. Right now, I'm not being greedy. I just need one guy to say, yo, I can play at this level and be good enough for you. That's all. I'm not asking for a lot. Just one guy say, hey, and please don't be TJ Edwards because I can't deal with Greg. So anybody outside of like TJ Edwards. And it's probably gonna be Nate Gerry getting a lot of.
Now you're getting picky. Now you're getting picky, huh?
Yeah.
We don't have that. Let go of that pride.
Let go of that pride, Gene, bro.
It's just
and you were right. It is Antonio Gibson for Washington.
Yeah, that's what I thought.
They go Gibson, J.D. McKissick, Peyton Barber, and then I forgot they drafted Bryce Love late. We're in the middle of last year's draft, so I wonder how healthy he is.
I just think who is. I think Nate Gerry is going to get a lot of run in the single package linebacker, group that we run out. A dime package.
Because in college he was a safety, so he at least has the athleticism of at least being able to move.
I'm just saying he's the only guy.
Eddie's the more veteran of everybody here.
He's gotten better every year. I know I'm struggling with my voice here. Let me go. But he's gotten better every year.
Little saltwater rinse, babe. Little saltwater rinse.
I had a rough day yesterday.
No, I listen. I had the issue last night. From Goff and just yelling, and then yelling on a lot of shows that I was like, oh, I got to be like a singer today. Like I did the saltwater guard. You know what I mean? Just to like clear out. Go take 5. Go ahead. You're welcome.
Sure?
I'm good.
You sure it's salt water?
Well, I mean that's for another YouTube guy that might enjoy other clear out.
It's been a while since Tom sucked a dick on air. A fake dick.
I only suck the dick when it's bigger than me. You know what I mean? In terms of like the need.
I thought you two-hander.
Come out right.
No, it did not. Usually
Tom
doesn't.
sucking dick, it doesn't come out right.
Anytime you're leading with you know what I mean? It's not going to come out right. Nothing else. Wow. It's down right.
For the long time listeners, they remember that. They remember those days.
Yep, airplane talk.
Hold on.
Coming in for a landing.
Hit the eject button. Put your pants on.
Donda said, "You don't want Nigel back? Yeah, he won't be allowed back in this locker room. He won't be allowed anywhere near this locker room." So, guys, while we're on Eagles right now, I want to see what you guys have win-loss total, and then we'll segue that into we'll preview Washington Eagles this next Sunday, 1:00. They'll be right now. We'll be hopefully having the ball ready to go down and score. So we'll preview that, give our score predictions, offense, defense, player of the game. And like we did last year on, leading up on game day, the week before is you give us your offensive, defensive player of the game and score, screenshot it. Person closest to it wins. I'm going to up it this year, 50 spot from A2D or $50 in free merch. You get $50 in free merch. So we'll give out merch for it. That's what I'm going to go. I'm going to go merch. 50 in free merch if you hit it. Deal? So throw it in, fam. Screenshot it.
Real
send
quick.
it.
Sorry, Carolina claimed Rasul Douglas and Sharif Miller off of waivers from the Eagles.
That's the type of team they should play for. A team that stinks.
Sidney was not claimed.
Shocker.
I don't expect him to be claimed because
he stinks. We gave him every opportunity being a second-round pick, and he still gets cut this early into his career. I mean, that's
Howie don't give up on his own. Howie don't give up on his own. So the fact that Howie's giving up on you, it's done. It's done.
And he tried to trade both of them. That's hilarious. Earlier in the week, it was like, trade both of those guys, and every phone nobody picked up.
And every GM's like, we know you're just going to cut him, so why the fuck would we trade for him?
Yeah.
What I say, Manny? Can I switch it up? Because I want maybe money to the merch real quick. Where else were we at? Gortzer talking about, I guess, Washington. The only team has is Terry and their D line, and that's about it.
Yeah, Landon Collins is pretty good on the back end. But, everybody else, they got question marks on the corners. Yeah, their secondary is overall is garbage. But, you don't want that Landon Collins hitting you when you're not looking.
Or just hitting you, period.
Yeah.
He's a good player. He's a good player.
Yeah, he is.
Yeah, it goes places, Manny, sometimes. You know what I mean? We'll go off the rails. We'll bring her back. we're here and there. Power Terror says Cordy Glenn. He stinks. I mean, if you want a turnstile, and then that's your answer. I mean, he's just not good enough. Any left tackle you're going out and trying to get right now isn't going to be good enough. It's somebody else's issue. So you want somebody else's issue. Look at the places he's played and the quarterbacks that he's gotten killed. So I mean, that left tackle. So it's just not. I know it's like the air quotes sexy name because we need one so bad. Listen, you're not going to find one. You're not going to find one.
Yes, it's very rare. Like you said, sometimes a lot of guys need a change of environment and change change of scenery and things happen. You know what I mean? But I love the guys. Like in coaches, you see this a lot in the coaching world. Like everybody can fix everybody. Everybody can fix somebody else's problem. Like, oh yeah, give them to me. I'll fix them. Yeah. And once you hear that, you should run the other way. Right? Because that guy's most of the time, those guys are full of fucking, their undies are full of fucking cheese. They're fucking, I can fix everybody. Yeah, you're great.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Everybody knows them.
Bryce just stole second and third.
Yeah, gonna have to do that today. Gonna have to do that today with fucking DeGrom throwing.
He's a little angry. Brycey's a little angry today.
And Wilson Ramos is catching, right? So
is putrid.
he just doesn't have a very good arm.
No, you can tell on that throw right there.
Yeah.
We put it on the bag.
Ralphie D says sorry about Josh Rosen sweeps. I don't think there's anything to be sorry about, Ralphie.
Get out of here.
Come on, Didi.
Appreciate your condolences.
Oh yeah,
that's a good catch. That's a really good catch.
That's a good play.
I'm back. Yeah, Palotero, I know. I mean, I know there's people out there right now just yelling about not moving Peters, the left tackle. I don't got the time or the energy for it anymore. You know, I mean, you know, it should have been addressed before he signed the deal. If I'm being critical of Jason Peters, that's all. I mean, that's real simple.
If he's already been practicing at guard and looks good at guard, I'm fine with him at guard, to be honest with you. It's time for guys to step up. We got other guys who've been on the team for multiple years now as backups. We're going to have to see what they can do.
Definitely got to see what they can do. All right, boys. Let's circle the room. Little win.
We're just gonna skip over that, Don, because stop trying to cut us with a knife here, all right, buddy? We know, buddy. We know.
We've watched it.
It is what it is, buddy. All
I
right?
assume the Bucks win today, but who knows? I thought they would win Game 3, and then they blew a fucking 12-point lead going into the fourth. So who knows?
They got their number right now. I think this ends today. And the guy talking about leaving his family at home because it's a business trip. I mean, why do you got to keep saying great things? You know what I mean? Can you stop saying great things that just pull at my heartstrings? You know what I mean? Everybody's got their family there, and Jimmy said, no. We kept them at home. We're on a business trip. I mean, how do you? The guy just continues this to make you love him even more, and he's not even here. So, all right, yeah, win-loss total, boys. Win-loss. Family, give us yours. How many Eagles winning this year? And is that enough to win them the NFC East?
I think we go 10-6 and make the playoffs.
Who wins the NFC East? Cowboys?
I just don't know that. I'm not saying that we won't win the NFC East. I won't guarantee that we win the NFC East. I think it's going to be us or the Cowboys.
Okay.
Yeah, I got you. I'm right there with you, brother. I think it's a coin toss. I'm closer to. This year is so. To me, this year is so weird. And we all know the weirdness of it's 2020. You know what I mean? It's just, especially without fans. Because you know how the link rocks. You know what I mean? And it's going to be interesting to see around the league how teams play. Not saying obviously without that advantage. You know what I mean? Because we know how huge it is a lot of places. You know what I mean? And the link is no different. You know what I mean? Like the Eagles have always held serve, at home. You know what I mean? And will that continue? You know what I mean? And a perfect example for me is week 2. You know what I mean? It's a good Rams football team. So, normally the cross country going west to east, a 1:00 game, that's usually a recipe for an L, you know what I mean? Especially with the link rocking. So I'm not saying it's not going to be, but that's with the Eagles offensive line issues, you know what I mean? Like you're going to need 30 guys to block Aaron Donald, you know what I mean? Good luck with that. So, and I don't, you know what I mean? So there's certain games that are, for me, that are coin toss, I'm sitting at like 9-7, but easily 10-6 and 11, and like Tom said, get something to go your way, maybe an 11-5, you know what I mean? There's some tough games there in that middle right there. Mm-hmm. Where you don't maybe necessarily have that home field advantage that you used to have, you know what I mean? And that the division games are always tough, you know what I mean? So you're looking at, you split with the Cowboys, maybe a split with the Giants, you know what I mean? And you got to take both from the Redskins, you know what I mean? And you obviously want to take both from the Giants as well, you know what I mean? But you know how that goes, you know what I mean? So, and then some of those other games, you know what I mean? It's just, I don't know. It's not an easy schedule. I mean,
it's not an easy schedule.
It's not an easy schedule. I mean, like I said, Rams, Steelers, now Big Ben's back. The 49ers are really good. The Ravens are the Ravens. They're really good. Who knows what the Browns are going to do, if they're going to continue to underachieve like usual, you know what I mean? But once again, that's, that would be on the road if it was a true season where the dog pound was, crowded and whatever disadvantage that would be. Seahawks, we know what the Seahawks do. They always play well here. The Packers, Saints, it's tough. It's tough sledding, you know what I mean? So, but I think they make the playoffs, but, I wouldn't be surprised if it was, 9-7, I don't know what that gets you, you know what I mean? So, 9-7, 10-6.
Yeah, no, and I think that it also works, in the same way going on the road. What does Green Bay look like without fans? What is that advantage, right? San Fran, like you already mentioned, tough game on the road, but what's that now look like without fans? Pittsburgh, usually a good team, especially at home. What does no fans do for them as well? And so I'm right in that same boat. I'm 10-6. I'm 10-6, and yeah, I get that gets them into playoffs. Obviously, if we split with Dallas, and it's going to come down to the divisional record, that's usually how it goes. They split with Dallas. I would love a sweep, but then at 10-6, if we sweep, then we're losing somewhere else in the division.
Yeah.
Well, we're probably going to lose somewhere else in the division. I think the Giants are going to be tougher than we think. And, we always give away. I think we give away a game every year.
Yeah. I mean, everybody does.
Everyone does, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I mean, I'll go then different, a little bit different than you guys. I'll go 11-5. That's like my top number for them. I don't think they're more than that type of team if everything goes right. You know what I mean? Like,
What up, Bryce?
So I'll go 11-5, and we'll say that wins the division, and Cowboys 10-6. So I'll go with that this year again, that the Eagles win the division and go 11-5. Now, if a ton of more injuries happen, then everything's off the table for all our predictions. You know what I mean? So, right now, even though some guys got banged up, I still think they can get to that spot with a great head coach, a damn good defensive coordinator, a franchise quarterback, and some really good skill position players that, when healthy, can be impactful. So, I'm excited to see it. I'm excited for next week, and I'm excited for this new and improved defense to get rolling too. To take the football away sometimes. You know what I mean? I mean, that's been our biggest issue the last 2 years. I just feel like we haven't taken the football away enough. I want some guys that football finds their hands once in a while. You know what I mean? And we haven't had that. And hopefully Slay and Coleman, can help bring us some more turnovers, for this defense, to put our offense in some good spots. So that's what I'm looking forward to. I'm excited it's getting rolling. But yeah, I'll go 11-5. That max number, and they're a playoff team regardless of where I have them or anybody knows.
Yeah. Listen, like I said,
Great throw by Napper.
The good thing is, like I said, good thing Jerry Jones is still there. You know what I mean? So every year you wake up and Jerry Jones is still there. It makes you feel good.
It's like Groundhog's Day.
Yeah, it makes you feel good as an Eagle fan. You feel like you always have a chance. You know what I mean? So it is what it is. Even though I think they are, 1,000 times better, this year, well coached, coaching wise, and that's without saying. I know people want to kill McCarthy, and that's fine. I'm not here to be his agent as being his advocate. I think a guy got a bad rap just because he had Aaron Rodgers. All of a sudden, like, he's the greatest thing since sliced bread, and like, you only won one time with the best quarterback. I mean, Tom Brady's the best quarterback. I got news for you. That was number one. You know what I mean? So, and one Super Bowl is pretty good. You know what I mean? So, Andy didn't win here. You know what I mean? You want to, that's the same thing as saying Andy's not a good football coach. You know what I mean? Like, we don't know Andy's a good football coach. His time, it was time for him to move on. You know what I mean? So, McCarthy had ran his course in Green Bay, and I know his plays might be stale and all that stuff. You know what I mean? But guy's a good football coach, and like I said, you're just hanging your hat on them. Hopefully Jerry continues to fuck things up there.
Definitely a good coach, though, Sweeps. You're right about that. McCarthy always been a good coach, and everyone that talks about. I mean, also dealing with Aaron Rodgers is probably pretty difficult.
Yep.
Because, Aaron Rodgers is known kind of an asshole.
Yeah.
I mean, his whole family doesn't like him. So, your whole family doesn't like it. Usually there's an issue.
Yeah.
I'll just leave it like this. It's hard to win Super Bowls in this league. It's hard to win championships. So
Absolutely.
Put your nose up to one like it's nothing. Like, you still won one. You know what I mean? Like, so people who put their nose up to Doug for winning one, like, you won one. It's hard to do. Like, Andy didn't win one forever, and was still considered a Hall of Fame coach. Because he was. He just couldn't get over it. And then finally did, which is guaranteed to jack it on. Right? That's all it was that nail, that final nail to say, I'm a Hall of Fame coach. You know what I mean? So it's just the way it works. It's hard to win. And better yet, win it all. And I'm not a huge Mike McCarthy guy per se, but there's no denying that when he was there, that football team was always in the mix. Always in the mix. So, it is what it is. Trayvon Dixon, hey, what's up, fellas? Sorry I'm late. Don't be sorry, brother. You're here. You made it.
What's up, Trey?
What up, Trey?
You're making it at the right time because we're about to give score predictions. Offensive, defensive player for Eagles, Washington next week, 1:00. Chime in, give us yours, and it gets you free A2D merch. Whoever wins it,
make sure you screenshot.
A2D merch is what we're doing. Every Sunday we'll be giving merch away. And once in a while we'll throw in a couple fuzzles. Once in a while, you know what I mean? Once in a while we'll mix in a 50 spot. But right now that's how we're going to roll with it. It's going to be fun. So, boys, whoever wants to go first, and then just give your offensive defensive player right here, right then and there. So
I'll go first. Also, one other thing I'm going to say for the gamblers out there, I think with no fans, just in the league as a general, I expect a lot of points to be scored. I think no fans, I feel like the fans always help the defense, usually make it harder, especially on the opposing team's offense. I think it's going to be a high scoring, kind of like what you're seeing in the NBA, in the bubble. All the games high scoring. I feel like it's going to be high scoring this year. A lot of scoring. That being said, I think my score will be 24-14. 24-14 Birds. I think it'll be a close game. We'll score late to pull away. Player of the game, Miles Sanders. Defensively, Fletcher Cox.
All righty. 24-14. I mean, I like that. I mean, defense played well. I'll take that. Greg?
I'm real close to that. I'm 28-17. Eagles get that late touchdown to seal the victory after I think a tough game. My player of the game will be my offensive player of the game will be Zach Ertz. My defensive player of the game, Hazley, what are you doing? Will not be Adam Hazley.
Terrible route to that ball.
My defensive player of the game will be Darius Slay.
Find a baseball, Adam. Jeez.
He was lost on that one there.
Sleeps, what do you got?
It's a tight. I look at it like it's going to be a tight contest. It always is. I mean, it's obviously week one, and we discussed about the fans and the road games and all that stuff. So we'll see. Interesting to see how that what happens, but it's still division game. It's usually a tough game when the Eagles go there. So I'm looking at like 20-17. One of those. One of those ones right there, just hard fought. That front, they got a tough front, and you got to see, with these injuries up front and guys in different positions, maybe see if they can keep Carson upright and keep him clean, so he can get the ball downfield and make some plays and keep the sticks moving. You know what I mean? But I still think obviously the Eagles are a better football team. So, and I don't know how Washington, not saying how Washington scores. I mean 17 might be a little generous. You know what I mean? It might be, could be a 20-10 burger. But I'll land on a 20-17 Eagles win week one.
Yeah, right around there.
I like it.
27-17. So still in that area. I mean, I don't know. I mean, nobody knows. It's such a weird year going into it. It's hard to even give your scores without just throwing scores out there. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I'll land on Wentz for 3 bills and 2 touchdowns.
Yep, of course you will. And you're going last year. I mean, I tried to sneak in there before you gave it out. I tried to I'm not going to ask him for his players of the game. We're just going to try to sneak it out and throw him in real fast. I'm going to go. What am I going to go? I'm going to go 27-17.
Jesus.
You went Wentz. I'll go. You guys all went somebody pretty much. I'll go Deshaun. Deshaun against Washington. 2 touches for Deshaun Jackson, over 100 yards, and on the defense side of the football.
Is it the only game he plays of the year?
Could be. On the defense side of the football, I'll go with BG, Brandon Graham. So that's
I think we're going to have to get after the quarterback.
Haskins.
And I think if we do get after him, he'll make mistakes. And I see us getting a couple turnovers, maybe some short fields for Carson.
Yeah, you would hope. So, this is a game we should win. A weird year coming into it, but a game we should win, and a game you need to win if you want to win this division and play in the postseason. So I'm interested to see how this football team looks. It's going to be exciting. No fans makes it weird. Where do you get your energy from, and et cetera. I mean, that could lead to, like you said, Wells, some more offense early on than defense until they sort of just get their feel and their feet under them. But I still think there's real good defense there. But the Eagles win this game, so we'll go from there. But to bring in to talk about some injuries and etc. for this football team. And really, my opinions on just not even the medical staff anymore, strength and conditioning is something we need to look at when you talk about the Eagles and just some key names going out and guys is always banged up. We changed medical staffs. So that's obviously hasn't been – now guys are going to get hurt in the National Football League. I just feel like we've had a little bit more than everybody else. I know that's been sort of the common theme around here.
We have.
But something that hasn't been changed is the strength and conditioning side of it. But we're going to bring in our doc to talk a little bit about the Eagles and get his thoughts and some injuries. That's Dr. Paul Vidal, Specialized Physical Therapy, LLC. That's Burlington, Cherry Hill, Princeton locations. Haven't had the doc on with us for a while. I'm going to add him in here in a minute, fam. So anything you got with soft tissue conversation with Carson Wentz, you throw it out, throw it in the comments. And then after we get through the doc, we'll talk and give you some Phillies and Mets live reactions. And I know Sweeps had a little bracket talk for us when it comes to baseball. So we'll have some heavy baseball for you at the end of the show as well. So, Doc, we got you. What's happening? Hope you've been hanging in throughout all the craziness that's been 2020. And it's good to finally talk to you again.
Yeah, good to be back on, guys. How's
What's up,
everybody
Doc?
doing?
Good to see you.
Yeah, Doc, how are you? Good to see you.
All right.
I'm gonna get right into it because I was just saying it. We've talked many Sundays in the past about the injuries on this football team, especially key players, key contributors, more so than just injuries. And we've changed medical staffs again. And we sort of see coming into this camp, similar things happening. Now, I expected this with this camp with a lot of football teams, just because you didn't get all the work leading up. You had to do everything on your own, essentially. So I could see some of the injuries happening. But one thing that the Eagles haven't changed, Doc, throughout this time period has been their strength and conditioning coaches. And I don't want to put it on one group or another group. It's a combo, obviously, of what the players are doing, what's going on in-house, and then obviously a new medical staff. Do you think more of it has to do with not only the players, we know this, but maybe something to look at is the strength and conditioning side of things on what's being done there, on why guys major key players continue to get banged up?
Yeah, that's a good question. I mean, yeah, you guys mentioned it. It's like it seems like we have a preponderance for like injury and like bad injuries that pile up more so than the rest of the league. And I'm not sure. Maybe that's just our perception because we're so tied to the area and to the team, or maybe that's the case. Maybe you look at the injury list. I mean, a lot of changes have been made. The medical staff a couple times now, and now the strength and conditioning staff has stayed the same. So, I mean, I guess if you're looking at variables, one thing that has stayed consistent so far is that strength and conditioning area. So, I mean, that's not to say that what they're doing is wrong or not right, but that's just a variable that hasn't been changed. So, I mean, it's a good point. I don't know. I mean, but it does seem like we are piling up the injuries more so than any other team.
And not just this year, consistently.
Yeah.
You look at like
3 straight now.
Yeah, guys get hurt. That's all part of the gig in all sports. But when it's always like trending in that direction, it's always big guys or the same guys always over and over again. It becomes alarming. You know what I mean? It definitely becomes alarming. Don said he thought you were a myth, Doc, because he always hears about you, but as a senior. And Palatero, this medical staff stinks, but it's a different one. So how do you even know it stinks? It's a new one. So it's not even it's another new one. And
I'd be interested to see is if these guys who are hurt now is how they come back. So it's one thing about the strength and conditioning piece of it, and part of that obviously is to get them ready for the season, and that's on the players obviously, and then the staff. But then how can they bounce back from injury? All right, because we'll see what their resiliencies, their capacity to kind of handle that injury and bounce back. And that may be all part of the preseason conditioning, but also it may be also the approach that's being taken behind the scenes.
Oh, absolutely. And I'll guess the big name that's popped up on the injury report, and not even I don't think in a big way. It's just Carson Wentz, and anytime his name pops up, people, there's panic attacks, and there's guys like Chris Coleman that are screaming for Jalen Hurts already, and and it continues. But this is a soft tissue issue, and I don't even know where it was on his body. They didn't announce because I didn't hear soft tissue issue here. They just said it's been a soft tissue thing. That's why he was held out of a few practices. Is there anything to really be concerned over, Doc, right now, especially when they're not telling you where?
Yeah, I mean, I thought I heard it was soft tissue injury of the lower body. I think
Okay?
That's what I heard. Yeah, I think that's what I heard. But yeah, I mean, honestly, I mean that could be hip, knee, ankle, somewhere in between. So who knows? I mean, is it just his groins bothering him? We don't know. It's interesting though, given his history, right? Over his knee, I forget which knee it was that was repaired and stuff. But it's just, is this all part of just fully getting back? And are there kind of weak links or areas that just still need to come back fully from the knee injury?
Yeah, now that I know it's lower body. Now my antennas just went up a little bit.
Yeah, that's what I heard. I'm not the source, but that's what I thought I read. So,
well, he needs to play a full 16 again, and then this time be able to play in the playoffs. Or he'll never get, he'll never be able to put this behind him, essentially, and his fan base put it behind him as a whole. Another injury name that came up, and this one I know kills a lot of people because one we wanted to see him play right away is Jalen Reagor, and it's a tear of what did he tear in the shoulder? It was like a slight tear in the shoulder trying to make a tackle. So was that 2 to 4 weeks, right? That was his projections on being out.
Yeah, it's probably around there. And we don't know what was torn though. It was the muscle, the rotator cuff, was it the labrum? So that I was reading up on that as well, and all I see is tear of the shoulder. So it's not very specific. Maybe they were still waiting the MRI outcomes, or maybe they haven't. They just haven't released it. But that has a whole host of implications depending on which tissue is involved. If it's a small tear, no big deal, I guess. Rest it, rehab it, and he can come back. But we'll have to wait and see what tissue is actually involved.
Kevin Mullen says the labrum. So I don't know if that makes it better or worse. I don't.
Well, yeah, I mean, the shoulder's a very mobile joint, right? And you have the muscles, the rotator cuff, which are very, obviously important for strength and stability and how the shoulder moves. But the labrum is interesting. It naturally adds stability to the shoulder because the shoulder is a very shallow joint. So the labrum can actually help to almost like deepen the concavity of the joint, meaning the bowled out effect of the joint. And if that's torn to a certain degree, it's like an overhead athletes and they go to throw, they have pain with it because they don't have the stability. So I'm not sure how that will fully translate to him because he's a receiver, correct? So maybe he'll be okay, especially if it's a small tear.
Yeah, you got to go over your shoulders a lot.
Yeah.
And to switch gears a little, real quick, Doc, the nightmare that is the Sixers. You think a little bit with Ben's injury, was that just like a little freak thing, or could that have been like a something that the back injury, even though it was months separation, did I have some injury? Did I have some effect on his knees? You know what I mean? Like, when you have some back injuries, can lead to some knee problems. You know what I mean? I don't know if he was.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, if I recall, his knee injury was the patella, right? Dislocated.
Yeah,
and then there was a little chip fracture there. That's kind of a freak thing. I mean, you would have to think this guy is strong and stable in the core and strong in the hips because, weaknesses in those areas often can lead to issues in the knees, especially when you're planting and turning. So, I would just happen to think, if everything else was kind of up to speed, that it was just the way he either landed or moved on it. I'm not sure if he landed on somebody's foot. I don't recall seeing that, but I don't see how that's directly related. But overall, as he comes back, he's got to have to put it all together. His back, his legs, so he can bounce back.
Yeah, Doc, is that concerning for you? I mean, that the only player in NBA history to be injured for the season twice. Does that concern? Because it sure as that concerns me. I mean, I can't run from more of my star players in this city from different teams just being out. I mean, this is twice in 1 year where he was out for the season.
It started with his foot, right? It was greasy. I forget what he had, a Jones fracture or one of those. I forget, but he was out, and then he came back and he was explosive, what have you. And then his back. And so the back was 2 years after the foot, I think.
Yeah, he's been healthy since the foot, and then he just had the fractured back this year, and then the shutdown allowed him to heal up a little bit, and then the kneecap went. Yep.
Yeah, I mean, my sense is that the fact that he came back from the foot and he was strong, was able to move around. That I don't think the foot maybe led to maybe the back, and but the back and the knee, if they are related, it's possible because they're so close in time frame. So he healed from the back, and I guess the pandemic allowed him to rest. But then did that kind of create a weakness for him where he was, they got back into this season, so to speak, and over the couple of weeks, if he wasn't fully conditioned, did that kind of just wear down on his knees and lead to the knee being susceptible to injury? I mean, that's always a possibility.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, how much could he have done over the quarantine? If his back was broke, So that's a great point.
Yeah, for most of us, if we just rest, back pain, most back pain will go away, especially if it's like musculoskeletal and with rest. But the thing is, if you don't do things to strengthen it, when you go back to start loading it and putting stress on it, the possibility of the pain coming back is real. And quite honestly, the short season may have not been enough time for his back to get aggravated again, over a longer period of time, maybe. So, and was he compensating and maybe had that in the back of his mind with his back, and that somehow led to his knee? I mean, that's all possible.
So I drink Miller Lights to try to make mine going away. So you're saying that's not a good way. That's not a good remedy.
Yeah, I had Jameson last night. That was okay.
Paging Ben, Miller Lite transfer. Does it look like Joel Embiid had many Miller Lite?
Getting out of shape too.
Did he look a little better to you this postseason in terms of conditioning? Now, granted, it was a weird shutdown and everything, but how did his conditioning look? Because that's the biggest thing when everybody talks about Joel Embiid. And just curious on what it looked like to you. Did he look like a guy that was conditioned well enough, or does it still look like that's an issue?
He looked better to me. I think he looked better. What didn't look good, and I guess we won't have to worry about it now because of the approach, but it's just so maddening, right? We've talked about it before. In the beginning of one of those games, he was down the blocks. Nobody can stop him. If I was the coach, we're why don't you just hit, rinse and repeat every time, go down, and he's out in the 3-point line. So I think more of the issue was he's in these areas where he's vulnerable. He's on the top of the key or the 3-point line. He's dribbling, and he shouldn't be doing that, at least in my opinion. So I think his conditioning was definitely better. Can it improve? Sure, everyone's can improve, but I think physically he was there. I just think maybe he wasn't in the best position to perform and produce for the team like they needed him to.
Yeah, absolutely.
No. And then on the Phillies side, the Phillies just put Jay Bruce back on the DL for another quad strain. How difficult is that to fully heal in a season like this, to where it's truncated, it's condensed, and we want to try and get our guys back into play as quickly as possible.
Yeah, did they say that was the left quad or the right quad?
Yeah, it's his left one, which is his second time on that one.
Right, so he's a left-handed hitter, right? So
yeah,
he's that's where a lot of his his planted foot and power is going to come from. I mean, honestly, the NL has everyone has got the DH now, right? Is that?
Yep.
Yeah. So I mean, gosh, if he could recover and be like the DH for it, not play in the outfield, because if he plays in the outfield, obviously there's more chance for it to get aggravated in this short season. But also it's his left quad, so that's where he's going to generate a lot of his power from. So I'm not sure if he's tweaking it when he swings, because a healthy Jay Bruce is a nice addition and nice variable to have in the lineup.
Yeah, and to your point, he heard it playing the field. He heard it playing defense.
I mean, listen, we got what's the game? Housley. We have Harper. Who's the other outfielders? McCutcheon. I mean, we got enough outfielders. We got Roman Quinn.
Well, you just put him on the DL or the IL with a concussion today.
Who was
we
that?
lost 2 today. Quinn went on with a concussion.
Yeah,
Bruce went back on with the quad.
Yeah, Bruce. Even if Bruce wasn't old, he really doesn't belong in the outfield. But he is the perfect DH. But it's one of those years where Joe's trying to get everybody a little puff at it. Everybody.
Yeah.
This way you can have it. Not quite a day off, but you can enjoy a half a day off where you just worry about hitting. So
Yeah,
I think as you get down the end of the stretch, near the end of the year and playoff time, there might be somebody that just stays in that DH role. If they're swinging well. Yeah.
Probably him if it comes down,
Yeah.
I would expect it to be him, unless you want to give JT a day off from catching, like down the stretch. Because I expect once you get to about 20 games left, JT's going to be in the lineup every day.
Yeah, for sure.
And I think we have a stretch coming up where we play 7 games in 4 days.
7 and 5.
7 and 5 days. Okay, yeah.
Yeah. Well, I mean, we're already. I think we're 22 games in 26 or 26 games in 22 days, something like that. It's
I mean, it's past the halfway point. It's crazy.
Yeah.
And all these double headers we got to make up.
Yeah, we got a bunch of double headers coming up.
Don, there isn't enough time to get into Markelle Fultz and
we're done talking about Markelle Fultz in this city. I'll tell you that.
Agreed.
Don't even bring him up.
there wasn't a doc in the country that was fixing that.
I hate that. There's not a dude I hate more than Markelle Fultz.
And it makes it worse too because you look at Jason Tatum, man. He's freaking lighting it up.
Yeah, he's a stud.
Yeah.
He's pretty good, and then we're left with that, and now we're watching, another former guy dominating the postseason, and Jimmy Butler, and we were left with, we were left with what we were left with, and that wasn't good enough. And again, injuries creep up on the Sixers and a star player, and in a time you need them the most. And I don't know. I still don't know what these two young guys are together, and their chance to win. I just don't know. We just haven't got that chance to really see it. And there's another year coming up, and hopefully this is a year where them two can stay healthy together and play in a postseason together and see what we're capable of doing. It's not fair to judge it without one of the two in there in terms of how good can they be. Either one's a gigantic loss for a team that's not deep and doesn't have a lot of talent.
And like you said, and we talked about before, and a new voice. You know what I mean? So, this is a huge year coming up for Sixerland.
Did they finalize a new coach? I didn't read about that. Is that
no? They haven't made a decision yet, but I mean, it's somebody. Hopefully not Ty Lue.
Tom Arnone.
I'll take the job. Well, can I just bring my whole crew be my assistants on the bench? Like we'll need a whole section of assistant coaches. 42 out of 42 assistant coaches. A lot of hands in the pot, which is fine. A lot of hands in the pot. We're trying. It's bigger than me. You know what I mean? It's bigger than me. We're trying to win a championship here. I'll tell you one thing. We'd have good inbound plays. You know what I mean? We would probably call timeouts in the right spot, and I'm going to have 47 guys drawing up a play, but we would, if we can extend timeouts like 3 minutes just so we can gather our thoughts, I think we could put together some good plays.
Just a TV timeout? We get the TV timeout?
I'm a big bottle cap and a rock guy in the huddle too. So I mean, I'll come up with a good one for you.
I'm pretty muddy with those magnets.
Mike Parker wants to know who the other guy in the package with Lou as an assistant. It was
Chauncey
Billups.
Mr. Big Shot.
Which is why I would like that because of Chauncey.
I like Chauncey. I want nothing to do with Ty Lue, but can we just get Chauncey?
We just say, okay, Ty, we know you. We know you want the head coach job. But we would just rather go with Chauncey. No, I don't disagree.
Somebody mentioned Nate McMillan, not necessarily as a head coach, but maybe as an assistant coach.
I would love Nate somewhere on this, if not.
Yeah, that'd be a great name.
There's a guy right there with him. You know what I mean? Now, will he take that type of job after being the head guy? I don't know. I don't know. But I mean, I just want former players that are hard nosed just to be around these kids right now. So whoever that is, if Chauncey Billups has some hard nose in him, I want him on my roster. Nate McMillan, we know, has that hard nose style to him. I want him on my roster. Ty Lue, I don't know what he has, but I want some former players right now. I think that it could hold more weight for our two stars, right? I'm looking for what can hold more weight and more accountability because all that was talked about was no accountability. So now I want the most accountable locker room of all time. So no matter what's done wrong, I want a finger pointed from here on out. I expect a lot of articles.
What Ty Lue has, Tom, is he has the ability to lose his job 6 games into a season after LeBron's not on his team anymore.
Yeah,
I hate Ty Lue.
And listen, you saw it last night. You know what I mean? It becomes like a respect thing. You know what I mean? I understand that Pat Bev is a handful, but you know what I mean, he couldn't even grab Pat Bev. You know, Pat Bev just kind of get off me. You know what I mean? Like you can see a lot of guys can grip the guy up and get him to the locker room, get him out of there. You know, get him out of any further damage. You know what I mean? He just kind of just discarded Ty Lue like he was like a kindergarten.
He is 5'3". So.
No, yeah, I know.
He's probably more than that, but
he's not gonna. You don't think he's gonna punch you. You know what I mean? So maybe grab a jersey, grab on for a little rodeo ride, and get him to the locker room. You know,
he's not the worst name of all time, but it's not like the name you really want. Like if he comes with Chauncey, it makes me feel a little bit better about it. But I don't like. I love it more because Chauncey's with him. Does that make sense? Like that's why I would like it more because it's not about Ty Lue, it's about more like Chauncey with him.
Then it's more puppet talk, which we've talked about. You know what I mean? Like hire Chauncey. You know what I mean? You don't have to be. Maybe Chauncey's doesn't want to be a head guy. That's fine. Can we just hire Chauncey as an assistant?
We don't hire a head guy because we like his assistant coach. That's not how you do smart business.
Never said that. That's how you do smart business. Well, so I'm just telling you that's the only thing that makes me like that the hiring. If that came,
I understand. You're trying to put a nice little coating on this Ty Lue thing. I got you.
There's no coating.
Trying to gloss him up a bit. I get you.
He wasn't my number one guy. I mean, my number one guy wasn't him. It was Sam Cassell. It was, I like Nate McMillan better than him. I like Jason Kidd better than him. So it's not like he's number one on my list per se. It's just he's number one on their list. And the guy who's made the moves for this basketball team hasn't been too good.
Did you guys see that? You guys probably read maybe it was an opinion. The Inquirer, but they were saying, maybe someone like Don Staley would be the coach. I know they're just throwing that out there, but I don't know. I mean, I guess not. That really didn't gain any traction. I don't think.
No, and I don't think it should because I think that'd be the opposite accountability. I think that'd be hard for her to have the weight to walk into the room and hold people accountable right away. I'm not saying she couldn't, but I just think that's a name getting thrown around because she's a Philly. She's a Philly.
Yeah,
Philly born and bred. So
yeah, and she's got South Carolina rolling. So I mean,
yeah.
Another one of those things, where why would you want to leave? For the Sixers mess when you're the
it's like Jay Wright, man.
Yeah, I mean that would be a little different, to be the first female head coach of an NBA team.
Sure.
I mean, I can see definitely her or Becky Hammond getting their names being thrown around, but I don't think for this team, with as close as we are to potentially, hopefully winning, if this was 5-6 years ago to replace Brett and build something, you can see. I could definitely see one of those teams that's rebuilding take a shot, and especially the PR shot. But
how close are we?
But yeah, I mean, I would like to hope with Ben and Joe we're pretty close.
We were a 6 seed that got swept in the first round.
Well,
I don't disagree at all.
I'm just saying I don't know how close we are. I mean, I hope we are, but I don't think Toby's I think we got some contracts that we got to see what we can do with.
I completely agree.
Absolutely. Yeah. All right, Doc, I don't want to keep you on too long. But we want to have you on, throughout the football season like we were doing.
Hopefully talking more of Eagles wins and not more of Eagles injuries.
Yeah. Hopefully bring you on. We're like, you know what? We don't have a lot of injuries to talk to you about, but we just have Eagles to talk to you about. We just got dubs. We just got dubs. But let everybody know, what you got going on at Specialized Physical Therapy, and how you guys are just maneuvering through, all the craziness that's been 2020.
Yeah, it's definitely been crazy, but we started back up in May 4th, and it's been good. We're just like all their businesses that are kind of back in. We've made some changes, policies, procedures to make sure it's a safe environment, not only for patients coming in, but for the people who are working there. We're limiting things in terms of how many people come in and stuff like that. I mean, you see it in different areas, but we've been at it now for 3 months full now, and it's been good. It's been different, but we're able to get to the people, or people are able to come to us, and we're still doing telehealth sessions. So if people are, fearful of coming in or don't want to come in or can't come in, we can get to them through telehealth. So that's what's been going on. And honestly, just like everybody else, man, we're looking to hopefully, finish 2020 on an upswing here. There's a lot going on, but hopefully we can do it. So, it's everyone's got to do their part, right? So, if we can do that, I think we have a chance there. But otherwise, yeah, if you ever need to reach out to us, you can find us at www.specializedphysicaltherapy.com. And we accept and are in network with all most major insurances, so that's a good thing. So anywhere from weekend warrior pain or things that have been bothering you for a long time, if it's arthritis, or if you got a loved one or somebody like that, it's got balance problems, dizziness, or vertigo. These are the things we can help out. So.
Yeah, absolutely. Navigating through is the biggest key to all 2020. Is just navigating through everything and doing stuff the best way we can. But it's good to hear that everything's going well still, and family's good, Doc, and we'll continue to cheer you on every show like we've been, and
I appreciate it.
Get people over there and in the doors, and if they're not ready for in the doors, and you got telehealth, which is phenomenal. Yeah. Something we're all sort of doing right now. I mean, this is telehealth. We're all in different spots, telehealth in it right now, and it's something we've had to adjust and do too. And it's it's different, but it still allows us to do things that we want to do and need to do. You know what I mean? So I think a lot of people have done such a great job, and throughout this whole thing of being able to find a way to make things normal and still be able to get things done through.
Yeah, man. I mean, one last thing with all this, I mean, this thing, change or disruption actually can drive innovation, right? So, those who are able to and willing to kind of do something different, go about it differently, and be able to pivot, they can thrive, I feel.
Adapt, right? Isn't it?
Yeah, adapt.
Yeah.
Just being able
Absolutely.
to and that's it, and try to have some normalcy. But sports coming back was huge. It was a tough 100+ days of trying to talk sports without sports. So it was like Christmas morning having them back and being able to talk about games actually happening right now, which is a ton of fun. So
I'm surprised we didn't have Korean baseball highlights. We didn't talk about.
Thank goodness we didn't dive too deep into that one.
I tried watching it a little bit. It was tough.
Yeah, man.
Considering it was 4 a.m. Pretty much when they started.
That's the tough part. Watching's easy. Just the 4
a.m. I don't know any of the guys. They're all named O or U. I was like, I don't know what's going on.
Yeah, it's tough not being able to not knowing players like that too. That's what makes our love for sports even more, is that we know who we're talking about or know who we're crushing.
Yeah.
But yeah, Doc, we'll talk to you again next week and talk some Eagles, and hopefully an Eagles win and
you got to score it. But Doc, before you go, you got to score.
Forgot all about that. Yep.
What, they got Washington?
Yep.
Yeah.
Hey, who's Washington? Is Smith gonna be the quarterback or no?
No, it's
he made the roster, but it's
Haskins.
Yeah, it's Dwayne Haskins.
Yes, he'll start out as the third, and then Kyle Allen's the backup. But obviously a great story, and you root for him. And they kind of, obviously I think it was a 50-50 heartstring thing, because he said he wanted to still play and stuff, and then they said the other day that the pocket collapsed and he didn't flinch and the ball was tipped at the line, and that was enough for Ron to say, hey, listen, we keep this guy on,
Cool. And they're in Philly this weekend?
In Washington.
In Washington, yeah.
All right. I'm going 2013 Birds.
Let's go.
I like it.
Giddy up.
Dubs are dubs.
That's it.
Dubs are dubs. That's it. So, yeah, next week it is, and it's weird it's here. We were talking about that early on. It's strange it's even here. It came up quick and sort of out of nowhere, because we didn't know if NFL was even going to be able to pull it off. So they're pulling it off. So we will see, and time to get excited and see what it's like, how these guys handle playing without fans.
Yeah.
Yep.
So thanks, Doc, for jumping on.
All right, guys.
We'll talk.
You got it.
Doc, always a pleasure. Take care, bro.
Have a great week.
Too.
Yeah, that's Dr. Paul Vidal, everybody. Specialized Physical Therapy, LLC. Burlington, Cherry Hill, Princeton locations. Find them on the web, specializedphysicaltherapy.com. Boys, talk some Phillies, Mets, some live reactions. I got a freaking piss so bad. Like it's not even close. So
Yeah, big
right
good start
back.
for the Napper so far. Threw a guy out, hit a homer. Aaron's left a couple balls up so far, so that's not good to see.
Yeah,
But
Aaron
looks like
doesn't look too
he
sharp.
looks good that inning right there. So hopefully,
Yeah, it looks like
pushing
4
through
hits.
now, and we're gonna have to try to get another one across against DeGrom here, or at least get his pitch count up.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, we had a few defensive blunders. That big one was the Hazley misplay.
I don't know what the hell
You
he
know,
was doing there.
That was, who knows what happened there, whether he lost it in the sun. It obviously seems like a bright day up there, but that's still no excuse, especially when you have glasses on.
He turned the wrong way, too, at first, which was weird.
And that led to a run. And glad thing it was only one run because we're Napper. We're lucky it's 2-1 because of Nap. You know, Nap threw that Nimmo out, and then Conforto doubled.
Yeah.
You know, so Nimmo scores if Nap doesn't throw him out there. So,
but obviously they're playing well. All right, a tough start, but really, starting to get their footing. Playing well. Everything's last night you expect a clunker like that in the season, whether it's a long season or a 60-game season. You know what I mean? There's going to be times when you don't hit, and it is what it is. Lugo threw the ball well, and Bryce, Bryce got ejected. It was, sometimes you need to blow a gasket, you know what I mean? Especially, and I see a lot of these.
Bryce cut his hair too.
Yeah, I don't know if I don't know if it was a turnover because of the virus, or it was just time for some of these older guys to go by the wayside. But I feel like there's a ton of new young umpires that weren't very good and don't know how to handle things. You know what I mean? And that's all he was saying was, hey, just talk to me. You know what I mean? Like be professional. So I don't know what the guy said to him. If he was a smart ass or whatever. But you don't have to be a 20-year vet, in the umpire world to realize that, hey, this guy's a superstar. You know what I mean? It doesn't mean that I'm going to allow him to talk to me like an asshole either. But all he just wanted to say, he just wanted to talk to you, and then like where it went from there, then you can say, hey, get away from me, walk away, Bryce, or whatever. It just seemed like right from 21 Jump Street, the guy wanted no part of the conversation, you know what I mean? And I don't know if that's a way to do things, you know what I mean? Especially when you're dealing with stars, you know what I mean? You should always give those guys the respect, you know what I mean? Like if it's a rookie, you know what I mean? Or Scotty Jetpack, I got no time for you, you know what I mean? But I would handle things all the time, like, don't matter who it was, you know what I mean? I would allow guys to, the freedom to talk, and then, if after a couple minutes, and I would say, all right, that's enough, stop carrying on, you know what I mean? And just go back to your position, and then if it escalated from there, then then I got to run you. You know what I mean? So it just seemed, it seemed a little silly, but it was one of those games where it was I don't he had a day off the other night, so it wasn't like he needed a day off. You know what I mean? It just seemed like obviously he plays hard all the time, and maybe he just wasn't into it. You know what I mean? Because that ball in right field, I don't know what he was doing in right field. You know what I mean? He's not expecting Neil Walker to have a water pistol for an arm, I guess. You know what I mean? Like, that's embarrassing that a guy tug up from shallow right, you know what I mean? But Neil kind of even looked like, hey, where were you at? You know what I mean? Like, I guess Neil knows that he's horseshit, you know what I mean? But he kind of even looked like, where were you, man? You know what I mean? I don't know.
And Joe kind of made that notion in his presser, saying that's Bryce's ball, and Neil only went and got it because he didn't hear Bryce.
Yeah. Yep.
Because naturally, that's the outfielder's ball. He's coming in. If Bryce catches that ball, he doesn't tag at all.
Yeah,
and you're right.
Yeah.
But
you're right about the umpire.
Any second baseman should be able to make that throw from that spot. You know what I mean?
Yes,
absolutely. I mean, so I'm not taking any blame away from Bryce and saying, that's not his ball. Go get the damn ball. He knows better. I don't know if he lost it or he didn't see it or whatever. I mean, the guy always plays hard, and I'm not a Bryce guy like you guys are. You know what I mean? But that guy plays hard all the time. So maybe he didn't see it, whatever. You know what I mean? But you got to expect your second baseman, whether you're 35, 36 years old, to make a throw from 100 feet.
No, there's no question.
Shallow.
I expect Bryce to try to take a bag here as well during this at bat.
Yeah, he's already taken two. Too good at bat so far against DeGrom for Bryce today, though, which is good to see because he's been struggling. For sure. And sweeps back to your umpire point. You're right. And if we take everything that happened on Bryce and what he said went down, then you're right. What are you trying to, big time Bryce Harper as an umpire? Like if everything that Bryce said was, we take that for what really happened, and obviously we all know there's two sides to every story, and then there's the truth.
yeah, of course.
But you're right. It didn't seem like there was any big words, any, tossable words out there and stuff like that would get, there's a double play. Come on, Didi, beat it. Damn it. That would normally ring him. And, he even said in his presser, there's times where I deserve to get rung. And then there's this time where I didn't really think I deserved to get rung. Because to your point, I was just trying to have a conversation with him.
Yeah. And like I said, maybe, I thought it was foul. It goes over the bag in the air, it's foul.
It's safe.
A ground ball is different. A ground ball can go over the bag and land in foul territory.
Safe by a mile.
Not a laser. So
yeah,
it is what
I didn't see much of the game yesterday. Obviously, I watched some highlights. I had a long day, but
you didn't see much of anything after your golf.
I did see that he got tossed. I didn't really see what happened though.
Yeah, and Joe kind of
BB down the line. BB down the line that was foul. But it looked fair to him. It's just when it goes, it's one of those. Like I said, it goes over the bag in the air. It's foul. If it's a ground ball, then it can go. Then it can go anywhere it wants. It can land in the stand. Just like I said, one of those frustrating. You just got a little frustrated. That's all. Lugo threw well. You're gonna have, like I said, you're gonna have those. You're gonna have those games in any season. Let alone 60 games.
Let alone a truncated, 60 game season.
They're playing well.
They won 10 out of 12.
Yeah, they're playing really, really, really well. Today goes a long way. And you can find a way to slay this dragon. I know you got Nola going with you, but Nola doesn't look, as sharp as he usually is. So if you find a way that he settles in and gets you through 7 here and keeps you in this, and you find a way to to get another one off DeGrom and get in the pen, and you got a shot of winning this game too. Get this game at 2-2 through 7, and see what happens. Because
then give us some Familia and Diaz.
Philly's pen has been better. I said Workman's, is doing his job so far. On the back end. Obviously Hector still looks like he's, lost. So.
Yeah, he's still trying to find it. Still can't throw strikes.
Yeah, that's it. Yeah.
Or it's very inconsistent, right? One outing he'll be good, next outing he's bad again. You know what I mean? And we can't have that if you're the 7th and 8th guy, which is where they have him slotted right now. You just can't have it. But looking at today, that's where last night hurt, right? You're gonna have those clunkers, but it's tough to have that clunker and then face DeGrom the next game. It's like if you're gonna lose one, you probably assume and would much rather be versus DeGrom than Seth Lugo making his 3rd start of the year. But no, he pitched well, and that's what I guess hurts most about last night was we knew we had DeGrom today, and it was going to be a tough battle today.
Yeah, absolutely, buddy, absolutely. And Spencer really wasn't. Spencer wasn't sharp. He wasn't horse shit, but he wasn't. He wasn't. He hasn't thrown one of those. He hasn't thrown a beauty yet. He's a rook. He's a pup.
Yeah.
So you don't expect him to go out there and give you, 7 scoreless. But, curious to see, how the next couple weeks, next couple starts go for him too. And see if he can throw a couple of those beauties in.
Is it Nick Pivetta or is Spencer Howard going to be different? You know what I mean? So to your point, like, who is he? We still haven't seen that really good start. We've seen the 5-inning piece with 2 runs. That was his best start, but that wasn't anything to like. And in today's major league, some of these nerds might crown over that. But when we're looking for another type of ace of the staff type conversation, that's not what we're looking for. So we still haven't seen that 7-inning, stretched out type game from him yet, where you're like, okay, this is a guy who's shown that he can go through it 3 times. You know what I mean? just go through the time, still have his fastball around 94, 95, and still have his stuff moving well. And we haven't seen that. Even in his best start, we've seen the velo go from 97, 98 to 92, by the third, fourth inning, which, I know the Phillies play it off like it's not concerning, but that's got a little concern to me. You know what I mean? Like a tiny bit. I'm not Mr. It's got to be, your velo's got to be pumping 98 the whole time, but when you're dropping 6 miles an hour on your fastball, I have a little bit of concern when my other best pitching prospect is humming and up and down and up at 101. You know what I mean? He's no longer here. So my next best pitching prospect, and it's not all about your fastball. Like, I get that. You know what I mean? It's not all about, his fastball. Yeah. But I'm just making a point. Like, that's concerning a little bit where your air quote best pitch, you're losing 6 miles an hour on your fastball, that quickly in your starts where you're
stamina.
Like I said, you chalk it up to one of these years, hope it's not, an injury or anything like that. You just say, hey, is he in shape? Is he in pitching shape? And, obviously no excuses. I'm just saying, you can see that, I would already say just by the eyeballs, it's not even, the Pavetta comparison is not even close. All right. So, but just stuff-wise, but not even close.
Eagles released Cravon LeBlanc.
There you go.
See you, Frenchie.
Maddox, it is.
Well, that's funny because that's another guy they gave money to.
Yep.
That's another guy they gave money to. Like, I don't know, man. Now the ball's in your court because these are guys you gave money to and used assets on. I don't care about you cutting guys. Do whatever you got to do, but.
I kind of like that, though, Tom. So at least he's admitting, like, hey, these guys aren't good enough.
For Craig James,
because we kind of thought that for a while.
Yeah. So, no, but to bring in Craig James on a 1-year deal, and then who was the other kid they just brought back too? They just brought somebody else back. Whatever. I'm drawing a blank on it. But regardless,
I don't even know.
Regardless, nobody of any weight. You know what I'm saying? Nobody that you're like, all right, that's the guy. Pop says, I still don't trust his bullpen and long haul fellas. Need to make a move.
Absolutely.
Yep.
Yeah. Well, out there, the deadline's over.
There's really no moves to be made, unfortunately. Yeah. Besides inside of our own organization. I think obviously it's our weak point, and everyone knows it. We're getting by now. It's gotten better, and we hope that we can just keep piecing it together throughout the rest of the year here.
Yeah. You just hope they do it with mirrors. You know what I mean? Yeah. So we hear you, Pop. There's no, the trust isn't there, but you just, like I said, they're throwing the ball, but they're pitching better now. They're playing better as a team. So you hope that that's just a trickle down. It goes, it trickles down to all, to all aspects. You know what I mean? Hitting, defense, pitching. Coaching, when you're playing well, it seems that everything finds a way to click. So you're just kind of hoping that the pen can figure it out enough. They don't have to be like, they're not going to be lights out. They're not going to be nails. We get that. Yeah. Can they do enough? And can these and it's good.
Can we keep scoring runs?
Yeah. Can you keep scoring runs? And it's good to see that. Obviously, you got two horses at the front of your rotation that are going 7, almost every time. Unless they have a bad outing. So, when that happens, you only got to get 6 outs, which is obviously better than when the game gets shortened to maybe when Jake goes, he gives you 5.
Then it's 12 outs. It's a little tougher.
Gives you 5. Might give you 5. Spencer didn't get out of the 4th. Gave you 4 yesterday. So now all of a sudden, you see that bullpen has to have some length to it. When you got the 2 mooses on the mound, they're going deep now. It's good to see. I think Wheeler might have threw like 110 or 112 the other day. That was great to see.
Absolutely.
Yeah, airing it out.
Absolutely.
And you're right. So the bullpen, that's sort of gonna have to be what it is now. Moving forward. Everything's done. So you are what you are, and you gotta hope guys can get outs, and you gotta hope you can still swing it well enough. And a game like today, like Sleep was talking, can Nola get a little stronger as he goes here? Keep this a 2-1 game as long as he can until maybe the bats start getting going a little bit, or we can somehow get in there. That's not the start we were looking for. Did that get chalk?
Foul.
Did that get chalk?
Foul.
That was really close.
What?
Yeah, he called him too.
He called a double. I thought it was foul.
It looks like the Eagles claimed Jason Huntley, a running back from Detroit, off of
they did the chalk.
waivers.
Yeah, I was going to say
And
one.
then that they had to.
Yeah, go
They
ahead.
obviously had to make room for that, and that's where Frenchie got the boot. So they added that fourth running back that I think everybody thought we would have, but obviously didn't when you didn't keep Killins, Warren, or whoever else they cut.
Yeah, I was going to say that earlier. You expected to see some. The roster wasn't complete, and we all know that. That's around the league, you know what I mean. But you had till today after 1 o'clock is when guys that got released yesterday, and then you start trying to put your special teams together. You know what I mean? You're not going to really find a guy you shouldn't find a guy that, unless you're a terrible team that's going to be an impact guy on the offense or defense, and it's more about filling out your special teams and getting that going. You know what I mean? So that fourth running back's not going to be used. He's obviously performed well on film on special teams, I would imagine.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah, because I haven't seen anything to make him
Yeah.
this guy like to come in and be an impact guy again. I mean, it's another just name.
Yep. Well, I threw something together, fellas. I mean, it shouldn't take too long. It's like I said,
Let's go.
The early ones rip through, and then it'll get a little interesting. Yeah. And while we're talking baseball, because football season, I was going to save it till next week, like Tom said. But once football season kicks in, I mean, we're still going to talk about everything. But it's I thought this was kind of interesting.
Heavy pigskin. It's heavy pigskin.
Yeah, heavy pigskin. I was bored last night, so I came up with a little September A2D, little September madness. The best player 25 and under. All right, so I threw like 64 guys together, did some brackets here, and obviously you guys can't see it, but I'll read it out for you. All right, so, and then obviously it'll just be you three guys, so there won't be any ties, so that'll be easy peasy. I'm just going to be the moderator. All right, so we'll start in the East. I'll give you just a little sample of what I did of the.
What were your 4-1 seeds?
I'll give you I was exactly what I'm doing. I'm going to give you the top 8 guys. I went the 1, the 2, the 4 1s and the 4 2s, and then we'll get into it. All right. So in the East, the number 1 seed is Cody Bellinger. In the West, we went Acuna as the 1 seed, Soto in the South, and the Midwest, Tatis Jr. The 2 seed, the 4 2 seeds are Jack Flaherty, Shane Bieber, Torres, and Walker Buehler. So obviously there can be a debate here anywhere, anywhere about those guys, but they were the 8 guys I kind of landed on. You know what I mean? A lot of studs out there, but they were the top 8 seeds regionally throughout the country. All right, so we'll start in the East. All right, with the 1 seed Bellinger taking on Nomar Mazara. Go ahead,
Bellinger.
Upset alert. No, Belly.
Belly.
This one's a good matchup right here. The 8 seed Lewis Robert against Joey Bart, the 9 seed.
Give me Robert or Robert, however you say his name. I like him.
Yeah, absolutely. Should be the rookie of the year if he continues. Absolutely.
More here.
5 seed Ozzie Albies and Cardinals 12 seed Dylan Carlson.
Ozzie.
Give me Ozzie.
There you go.
Thanks,
Omar
Omar.
says, I said want to send my thanks to Tom for being real about Dak and his shoulder being messed up in that Eagles second game in 2019. You keep it real and have my respect. Plus, you and the crew do a great job daily. Thanks, Omar.
Thanks, Omar.
We appreciate it.
That's what we'll do.
Absolutely.
All right, yeah, next
seed Mike Soroka and Franmil Reyes as the 13 seed.
Soroka.
Give me Soroka.
Okay,
Reyes is good though. I mean,
Yeah,
Reyes
I
is good.
like Fran Mill. I actually paused for a second there, but Soroka wanted to start it like the ace job for Atlanta. Obviously, he's hurt, right now. We'll see how he comes back from it. But to be that young and be considered the ace, obviously, he's very good.
Yeah, and I always feel Franmil doesn't have a position. He's not a great defender. You know what I mean?
Yeah, he's more of a
he
DH.
punishes basaballs. All right. 6 seed Chris Paddock. This is interesting. 6 seed Chris Paddock. 11 seed Sixto Sanchez.
Give me 6 though.
Jinx.
There you go.
I like Paddock though, but
yeah, give me 6 there too.
3 seed Wilson's boy Rafael Devers. 14 seed Brad Keller, Royals pitcher.
Devers.
Devers.
I like
Devers.
Devers. I like Devers a lot.
7-10 matchup. Carlos Correa and Nick Senzel.
Correa.
Senzel is a Swiss Army knife, but there's no substance to him yet. You got to go Correa.
2-15 Flaherty and Brady Singer.
Flaherty. I do like Singer a little bit though.
Yeah, no.
But Flaherty.
Bucks, tough 15. Yeah.
Bucks decide.
Snuck him in as a tough 15 right there. All right. Bellinger and Lewis Robert.
Give me Belly.
Belly.
And I like Robert, but already won MVP and he's young. Belly's gotta be top 5.
Albies and Soroka. 2 Braves going at it.
Albies.
Ooh.
Give me Soroka.
Greg.
I got to go Soroka. I got to go with the ace. The pitcher.
I go the ace over the second baseman.
Woo, Gregor, all right.
I do love Alvy. I do love Ozzy though.
I hear you. That's why I said it gets. Now we're moving on. It becomes not as easy. Sixto against Devers.
Devers.
Raphael moving on. Correa against Flaherty.
Flaherty.
Greg.
I got to go Jack. I got to go Flaherty.
Don't you do it, you son of a bitch. Jack, moving on. Tom,
would you have gone Carlos?
I was thinking about it, yeah. So I mean
that's where only because of the shortstop, right? That's the only reason I hesitated.
Yeah, so I was letting you guys just decide that one before I have to jump in.
I happen to really like Flaherty.
Me too.
Or else I might have probably went Correa there because I always feel like you win up the middle, you win catcher, shortstop, center field.
Pitching,
obviously.
I feel like everybody, because he came up so early, I feel like everybody thinks he's like 35 years old, and they're like batting him 6th or 7th. You know what I mean? Like he's the middle of the. He's 24 years old. I mean,
yeah.
Bellinger and Soroka.
Bellinger.
Yeah,
Belly moving on. Raphael against Flaherty. Here's a tough matchup.
I gotta go Jack.
Give me Devers.
Tommy.
Devers.
Woo! We sending hate mail to both you cockers. All right, Derek, I see you, buddy. I'll get you a case of mellow yellow. Appreciate you. Belly against Devers, the 1 seed against the 3 seed. Chance to go to the Final Four.
I got to go Belly, even though I love Devers.
Yeah, Bellinger.
Belly.
Agreed. Belly ends up in the Final Four. Good job. The East is done. All right, to the West.
Yeah, real quick, Josh Rosen went to the Bucks on the practice squad.
My thoughts are that Josh Rosen stinks. But I mean, if you're ever going to become a decent player, obviously not bad to learn from a guy that's a great QB coach and the best quarterback of all time. So if he's ever going to be good spot for him to sign to try to get better.
Or if you're
time to make it a break. Right?
If you're gonna hold a clipboard, that's a good place to hold a clipboard. You know what I mean?
Yeah, as well.
Chance to get some hardware, chance to learn, like Wilson said, and a chance to get some hardware. All right, to the West, boys. Acuna and Danny Jansen.
Acuna.
8 seed, Biggio. 9 seed, old wonky eye, Willie's boy, Julio Urias.
Give me Biggio.
Biggio moving on. 5 seed, Verdugo. 12 seed, Joey Adele. Tough matchup, 5-12.
Verdugo.
Oh, my God. Oh, he didn't go. Thank God. Give me Verdugo.
Verdugo moving on. 4 seed, Moncada and Ahmed Rosario as the 13.
Moncada.
Yep.
Moncada.
6 seed, Alonso and the Twins, Luis Arias. Good little player.
Alonso.
Yeah, I'll go Pete.
I like Luis, though, but you got to go Pete.
Yeah. 3 seed, Mondesi, and 14 seed, Carter Kaboom.
Give me Kaboom.
Woo!
Mondesi.
I think Alberto Mondesi stinks.
I gotta go with the shortstop, Mondesi.
They're both shortstops, aren't they?
Kaboom.
Well, Kaboom probably won't ever play shortstop because Turner's on fucking fire.
7 seed, Victor Robles against 10 seed, Kyle Tucker. Astros.
Kyle Tucker for me. I like that kid.
Stud.
Yeah, I'm going Tucker too. I'm not a huge Robles guy.
there's been no jump with Robles, right?
Yeah.
I mean, there's been no next step. It's just like you're just here.
He's got talent, but
He does, but there's been no elevation, right?
No, there hasn't.
2 seed, Bieber. 15 seed, Ty Grisham, Padres.
I like Grisham, but you got to go Biebs. Biebs might be the best pitcher in the game right now.
Yeah, absolutely. Cy Young for sure.
Big strikeout Nola here with the bases loaded.
Huge, Tommy.
Huge strikeout of Donkey.
Great job getting to that ball quick by Napper to keep the guy at third on the pitch before that as well.
Hey, good job, boys. Yeah, love the commentary. All right, we'll mix it in right around that little Phillies Mets preview. I mean, live stuff. Acuna and Biggio.
Acuna.
Ronnie.
Acuna,
Yeah.
Matata.
Verdugo against Moncada.
Oh, fuck.
Moncada.
Give me Verdugo.
Tommy.
I already said Moncada, so
Oh, and Greg said Moncada. Gotcha.
yeah.
Moncada moving on. Okay, sorry.
Not
Alonso and Mondesi.
Who was the first one?
Pete Alonso against Mondesi.
Alonso.
Yeah, Alonzo.
Peter moving on. Tucker against Bieber.
Bieber.
Biebs.
Acuna, Makata. Akuma Matata.
Oh my gosh.
That was wild.
Acuna.
Acuna, Moncada.
Yeah, he's
Acuna, Moncada. Moncada. Give me Acuna.
Yeah, Coons.
Alonso and Bieber.
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 Biebs.
Went to go to the Final Four. Acuna and Biebs.
This to me is really tough because
Acuna.
Acuna's awesome.
Yeah.
I mean, Acuna might be the best player in baseball.
In 2 years, yeah.
Even right now. I mean, he's up there.
I don't think he's there yet.
I
Hear you.
I said might. You know what I mean? Like, there's a conversation at least to be had.
Yeah.
I'm going to go Ronnie.
Give me Biebs.
Acuna.
Acuna in the Final Four. All right, to the south. Soto and Sheffield.
Soto.
Yep.
So,
8 seed Jordan Hicks. 9 seed Kyle Lewis. Very, very nice matchup here. Tough matchup. 105.
Give me Kyle Lewis. I like that Kyle Lewis kid.
Yeah.
that's right. He's from Seattle, right? Kyle
Yeah,
Lewis?
he's playing
yeah.
center field out
Yeah,
there
hitting
playing
in the
pretty
three
well,
hole.
and he hits
Rookie
ball
hitting in
hard.
the 3 hole. Yep.
Yeah, give me Kyle Lewis.
Lewis
Yeah, I'm good with
moving.
Lewis.
Yeah, I can't fault you there. 5-12. Austin Meadows against Spencer Howard.
Austin Meadows.
Meadows.
Nothing against Spencer, but Meadows
Nope.
damn good player. Great job, Pittsburgh.
4 seed Vlad against Vlad, the 4 seed against Dakota Hudson.
Vlad.
Vlad the Impaler.
Carrot Top against Edmund. 6-11 matchup.
Timmy Edmond.
Ooh.
Carrot.
Give me May. Give me Carrot Top.
Yeah, okay.
I like
Nice.
Timmy Edmonds' game. Kind of a switch on-
3-14. Here's our guy. Gallon, a 3 seed. Nico Horner, 14.
Gals.
Gals.
We can't not pick Gals.
Gals are
7-10.
fucking healing.
7-10.
no.
Alcantara against Ian Anderson. Tough matchup.
Ian Anderson for me.
Alcantara.
Ian Anderson,
Tough.
and I'm a Jethro Tull fan, so that works.
There's not a. I mean, you've seen obviously glimpses from both, but you haven't seen a whole lot from both. But Alcantara to me is the one that you've seen more from right away. So I'll go Alcantara.
Moving on. Torres against AJ Puck. 2-15 matchup.
Torres. Even though people are really high on Puck, but he's hurt again. So
Yeah, I threw some tough 15 seeds in there. Soto against Kyle Lewis.
Soto. Juan Soto's a fucking monster.
Yeah, Soto.
Vlad against Meadows.
Meadows.
Vlad.
Vlad's overhyped.
I hear you.
I'll go Meadows.
Ooh, moving on. I see you. Tommy, just for fun, who would you have went with?
I went Vlad, so.
He
Okay,
went
I got it.
Vlad.
My bad. I didn't hear you. Carrot against Gallons.
Gals.
Gals.
When Gals wins
Gals.
this, wins this over maybe some homerism at the end, when he wins this, we will have the clip ready to go. So,
Alcantara and Glaber.
Give me Glaber. Even though
Yeah.
Glaber is hurt right now, but Glaber was on a bit of a. I know it's early, and not many games, but he was hurt. He was struggling.
Soto Meadows.
Soto.
Yeah, he's so good.
Soto.
Gals against Torres.
Gals.
let's go. Oh, we're getting there, boys.
Unfortunately, he's
Chance to go to the Final Four. Soto against Gals.
Oh, God.
You got to go Soto, dude. I love to go Gals here, and Gals pitching amazing, and I think he has a real shot at the Cy Young, especially because they don't care about wins anymore, thank God, since he's only 1-0. But Soto's out of this world talent. It's crazy.
Yeah, I don't know if we can call ourselves baseball junkies if we don't go Soto here.
Soto might win the whole thing for me.
Soto in the Final Four. Good effort, Gals. You just ran into a monster.
Tommy can pick that Gals and say
we're gonna blame Bibbs for putting you in the same bracket as Soto on that one, Gals.
Yeah. I didn't know where to put him. I gave him a 3 seed.
I'll take the arm. Gals, let's go.
Right, because I stuck my other guy in right here. You know what I mean? I had to do what I can here. So now we're going to the Midwest. Tatis against Smelts, 16 seed. Stuck him in there.
Sorry, Smelts. Tatis.
Yeah, Tatis is delicious. I know. Smelts was just happy to make the tournament. He was happy to make the tournament. That's all.
I'll take Smelts for good luck.
Good 8-9 seed, 8-9 matchup here. Dom Smith against our very own Alec Bohm.
Give me the Boomer.
Give me Bohm.
Yep.
Yeah, I think Bohm.
5-12, Bichette, Will Smith, the catcher.
I love me some Bo
Give me
Bichette.
Bo Bichette.
Yep.
The better of the young kids on that team, in my opinion.
4-13.
Oh, absolutely. Yep.
Jordan Alvarez and Jesus Lazardo.
I like Jordan, even though he hasn't really played it all this year. Give me Jordan.
Yes.
Not really sure he has a position besides being a hitter, but
Yeah, Jordan.
6-11, Willie Adames against Cronenworth, Padres.
give me that Cronenworth, man. Kind of playing all over the place, playing really well. I like Adames though, but
Yeah, I know.
Give me Willie.
Oh, up to Tom.
Going with Greg.
Adames, moving on. 3-14, Eloy Jimenez, teammate, Nick Madrigal.
Jimenez.
Boy, he's delicious.
Yeah, he's good.
Yeah.
White Sox got some young talent over there.
Yes, they do, boy. They are loaded. 7-10, the Brewers, Hirura against Lux.
Give me Keston.
I got to go Keston because Lux has struggled to even get to the show.
Well, he's on a kind of a good team.
Herrera.
But
Yeah.
I hear you, though, Greg. I hear you.
He's supposed to be that second baseman moving forward, you know?
Yep.
And hasn't taken
2-15,
it.
Ferris Bueller against this little stud from the Mets, Jimenez. Looks like he took Rosario's job. You know what I mean? This kid.
Yeah, he is playing well, this Jimenez. But obviously, I'm going to go.
Yes.
Bueller.
Yep.
Yeah.
Tatis against Bohm.
Tatis.
Yeah, give me Fernando.
Tough matchup, Alex. Sorry, buddy.
He's pretty good.
He's decent. I think he's gonna make it.
Bichette against Alvarez.
Bichette.
Bo.
Bichette, moving on. Adames against Eloy Jimenez.
Eloy.
Yep.
I love his upside. I love his upside as a power guy.
Yep. Herrera against Ferris Bueller.
Ferris.
Yep. Tatis, Bichette.
Oh, this is a tough one. I mean, it's not really tough because Fernando
I think it's pretty tough, but
is much better. But Bichette's right behind him.
I like me some Bo Bichette. I can't not go Fernando Tatis here, though.
I got it. Yeah.
And Jimenez against Ferris.
Bueller.
Yeah.
Bueller.
Bueller moving on.
Bueller.
Chance in the Final Four. Tatis Bueller.
Tatis.
Tatis moving on.
The Final Four is going to be fucking tough.
The Final Four is
I'll just throw Bueller out there just to be the other side, knowing that Fernando's already moving on.
All ones. It makes me feel good as the committee when I was in my room and I was doing the seedings. It makes me feel good about my rankings here. All one seeds ended up in the finals. Bellinger against Acuna to get to the finals.
Kuna.
Give me Belly.
Uh-oh, Greg.
Oh, my God. I got to go Belly.
Belly in the finals.
I mean, he's got an
Soto,
MVP.
Tatis.
I know he does.
Soto.
This is another tough one.
Do not envy you guys.
What
Was
the
it
next
Soto
one?
Tatis?
Soto, Tatis.
Tatis.
Chance to go to the finals.
Give me
Tatis.
Soto.
Tatis.
Oh, my God.
Up to Greg again. Look at it. The swing vote. I love it.
I should go Tatis because he's a shortstop. I just love Soto. I think he's going to be fucking amazing.
Oh, I don't disagree with you. That's why they're here.
I gotta go Tatis.
Let's go.
Tatis against Bellinger. Who is the best player 25 and under?
Listen,
A2D radio.
See,
I'm going
are
with
we
the
talking
defensive side
right
of things.
now, or are we
I'm
talking
going with the defensive side of
looking
things.
forward?
I'm going with defensive side of things. I'm going with a guy who looks like, I mean, not saying the other guy didn't, but a guy who obviously
Bellinger's Gold Glover, though, Tom.
changed.
Too.
No, I understand that, but I'm talking about the shortstop side of things. You know what I mean?
I get it.
So I'm talking about the, being a middle guy and the importance there, and then just what he's sort of done to that whole team. You know what I mean? It's just been like a shot of a shot of injection almost into some guys. I mean, Manny's been more consistent. You know what I mean? Like, I think he's done wonders just for Manny in a way. You know what I mean? I don't know. I mean, listen, both are studs, both are pimps. That's why they're here. But there's something I've seen from this. Just watching Tatis this year, I don't know. He's made such a monster jump. Obviously, not that he wasn't a stud right from Jump Street. Hasn't played obviously as long as Bellinger. So, Bellinger has more of a track record, right? I mean, that's obvious. But I'm just gonna go with Tatis. I'm just gonna, I'll let you guys, fight it out over who's moving on. But I'll go with Tatis.
Give me Belly.
Oh, Greg again.
Had to do it, Greg. Sorry.
I was I knew where you were going, so I was going to go the other way for sure.
I'm a Cody. I hate the fucking Dodgers, but I'm a Cody Bellinger fan. Kick and play.
I'm flipping a coin in my head. I landed on Bellinger.
Bellinger, the champ.
Belly the champ.
By the way, if you have any of those four guys that made the final, you're pretty good. You'll be in good hands. Good hands.
Great work out of you guys. Cody Bellinger, A2D radio, best player 25 and under.
Debatable.
That could change next year, by the way.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
This is a fluid
Yeah.
situation here.
Yes, we'll do it again.
No, a ton of fun. Phil's down. Yep, down 4-1.
What's Ralph talking about? Somebody.
Yeah, big 2-hit, or big 2-out RBI, 2 RBI single last inning for the Mets. Unfortunately.
Yeah, it looked early on, like you said. You looked early on like Nola didn't have it, and you were just hoping that being great that you can, when you don't have your best stuff, that you can find a way to still get some outs and get some get some length in your start and figure it out. It just, even though it didn't look like it, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
You could tell early on he wasn't the Nola. It wasn't the Nola.
He should have got out of last inning because there was an error. But granted, he's been battling. But you're right, Sweeps. Definitely doesn't have his A+ stuff.
Yeah.
No, not at all. Well, it's funny. Omar says AP to the Lions, right? And that's funny because then we take their slot from them. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Then we take their one of their running backs and one of the running backs who isn't any good. So it's just fun how this has been working. And then Howie goes and releases, as we're talking, releases another corner that we touched on. So now down to 5. Better hope you pick the right 5. That's all. better hope you pick the right 5. That's all we can say about that. Not saying that LeBlanc is anything special or Sidney or Rasul. So I mean, part of ways with some guys that he put some assets into. So
yeah,
we'll see how these other guys come out.
I'm kind of intrigued by it, Tommy, to be honest with you, because I feel like maybe we were holding on to these guys even though they weren't that good because of where we picked them. I kind of like cutting the cord. Like, okay, this dude stinks. I don't care if he was a second-round pick. Cut the fucking cord. I like that.
I don't mind that about Sidney, but I feel like he just gave money to LeBlanc like last year or the year before. So it's just proving that's another miss by you. Not what I thought about a guy. Like I didn't think that guy was
True,
good.
But just
anyway.
playing devil's advocate, I like maybe it's him admitting that it's a miss and instead of just holding on to a miss, which I'm for that.
Which we've said that, and we've said that for a long time in all sports. You know what I mean? Like, you go back to
acknowledge your mistakes.
Yeah. You go back to
try to move on from them.
Yeah, for me, it always stands out. I mean, there's tons of examples, but like David Bell for the Phillies all those years ago. You know what I mean? Like, he had one good year, Phillies signed him, and it just kept running him out there because of the contract. It's like, cut, let's go, because cut your losses. We missed.
Okay, accept it.
It's okay to miss. It happens. It's okay to miss. It's part of it. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Well, he just admitted a bunch, in one little 24-hour stint, which is fine. Move on from it and hope the guys that you have in here are good enough to get it done. Especially for that other outside guy. So, if that's Avante, then let's go to work. You know what I mean? And that is what it is. And we'll hope that that's a pick that he ends up hitting. You know what I mean? Because we haven't. The jury's out on that too. If that's a hit pick, if that's just an okay play, you know what I mean? So we don't even know we don't even know what that is yet with Avante Maddox. So there's definitely some things that we don't know on this roster, and we're going to find out now with only 5 of them. So unless another roster move's coming, I don't think there is one. So that's the way it shakes out for your corners.
Yeah, and one thing that concerns me, count Mills as a two-way guy. You know what I mean? So, I know they're trying to, they're trying to get him to settle in back there. You know what I mean? But like you said, in a pinch, if something happened, you can put the Green Goblin back to where he where he
stinks.
Yeah.
That'll be great. That'll be awesome. But I hear you.
In the red zone, put him in the corner. Put him at the corner.
I said this the other day, Sweeps. I don't put him back a corner ever. Like, so I mean, it's the same thing like Jason Peters. If I'm jailing, like, is the precedent set now where like if they ask you to move somewhere else, you got to go back to the table for more money? You know what I mean? That's why you can't get Peters more money. You can't get Peters more money because then it sets a precedent that anytime a guy's got to switch a position, he's got to go back to the fucking drawing table for more money. That's clueless talk. Like, that's ridiculous. You know what I mean? So I didn't like the whole Peters thing, but I don't think the one thing I don't think happens with Mills is I don't think he gets put back there at all. I think
I'm just thinking like an emergency, like an emergency catcher type. You know what I mean?
Yeah, but somebody said on the show the other night, well, Mills will play a lot of corner, and I'm like, not if guys are healthy. Like, if everybody's healthy, he's going to stay where he's at. Now, if guys get hurt, then he absolutely could have to go play corner. You know what I mean? But then you're adding then where are you going? You're going Kevon Wallace there. You're going Will Parks there. So then the question becomes on who that other guy in there is. And is it worth it? So hopefully guys can just stay healthy for once in our secondary, and we don't have to do some of the moving and shaking we're talking about right now. And guys can just stay where they're at and hopefully.
Yeah, that's
a big ask. That's a big ask to stay healthy. It's a big ask.
Huge ask.
And the only concerning thing about the current secondary is most of those guys are undersized. And I mean, and let's be real, the only guy that wasn't was Rasul. So it's not like we kept hold of him just because of his size. He stinks, obviously. But now we're going to a bunch of guys that are small and undersized, probably outside of Darius, who we obviously know can do it at the upper tier level. You know what I mean? But Avante's undersized. Craig James is undersized. Roby Coleman, is undersized because he's most effective in the slot. So now, we're gonna have some issues potentially on the outside.
No, we're absolutely.
What we do have though is a true number one corner, which we haven't had for a while.
That is absolute.
Yep.
Yeah, and then that should make everything around it better, right? It should.
Yeah, you would hope. Yes.
Yep.
You would think so. All right, boys.
Hopefully, stop Amari Cooper.
I like him for 2 picks in his debut. Little hot take.
Oh.
I like him to get Haskins for 2.
Yeah, we'd love a 2-piece to start out. That's one way to become a folk hero real quick. All right, boys.
You talk. Give me 2.
You want to do
Give me 2.
little crumb in a week and get on out?
Yeah, I'm probably only about 5% bat here, so yeah.
So lead us off then, Wells, if you got somebody.
If you have someone, go, because I'm just gonna
I'll go. I got 2, but I'll be real quick. Two baseball guys real quick. Obviously, Aroldis Chapman, you know what I mean? We're not going to talk about the past or anything like that. But I'm going to talk about, 100 miles an hour at somebody's head. You just don't do it. You understand? And don't tell me that he's wild. Yankee Crumbs are defending him and he's wild. I know he's wild. I got eyeballs and I've seen his career. You know what I mean? But he walked down the mound. He stared at him. He knew what he was doing. You know what I mean? Saying you want to send a message. You want to protect your hitters. We've been talking about this. We always talk about this. We have no problem with it. You know what I mean? Some of the other unwritten rules that we don't care for, that's great. You know what I mean? But you want to hit a guy, hit him in the ass, hit him in the back, hit him in the leg. You know what I'm saying? You got to stay away from the head. I mean, you kill somebody. You can kill somebody. All right. And then you act like a tough guy. You walk down the mound like you're a tough guy. Knock it off, dude. It just cut the shit. You know what I mean? So for me, that was, he was my number one. And the other guy is Kepler. And I know he ends up there and Spellman thinks it's, it's an ex-girlfriend, but it's not. You know what I mean? This guy, 18-2, they're beating the Rockies this week. All right. And he challenges a play at first base. You understand? It's unheard of. Bud Black's looking over there. He's 60-something years old. So physically, Bud Black can't go over there and do anything. But somebody needs to punch Kapler right in his face. You know what I mean? It's an absolute fucking joke. You know what I mean? You got 22 hits. The other team has 2 hits. It's the 8th inning. You're thoroughly outplaying them. There's no coming back. I don't care if it's in Coors Field or not. All right? Get some feel for life. Get some feel for the game and grow the fuck up.
I'll tell you, I want to get my guy a hit there.
Mm-hmm.
Fuck up, Gabe.
18-2. You don't have enough hits?
Yeah. If you need a single in your contract to put you over bonus-wise, then you're a fucking idiot anyway. The bonuses usually come with home runs and RBIs and all that other shit. So.
Go ahead, Greg.
Wills, you got one? Wills, you ready?
No, you go, Greg.
All right. Instead of going with kind of where I went last week with the Drew Konechny not showing up, I'm going to be a leader unlike the way Drew is and put this on myself. I bet the Flyers last night. I am the crumb. I'm the reason they lost. I will take onus on this, unlike Drew and the leaders of the Flyers who allowed that putrid performance last night to happen. I apologize to everybody. I am sorry. It is on me.
That's very big of you. Yeah.
I think
Game 7.
I think it just kind of caught up to us last night, Greg.
No, I know.
I feel like we got outplayed the entire series, and it finally caught up to us.
Yeah, it was.
We had that first 6 minutes. We played tough. We missed that. We had that redirection hit the pipe. We had that opening power play, and we were putrid ever since.
Yeah.
No, you're right. And like Willie said, he couldn't have said it better. You know what I mean? To me, it was a miracle that you got to Game 7. You know what I mean?
Yeah, absolutely.
Thoroughly outplayed in both series. You were fortunate enough to, Hart did enough, and they did enough offensively just to, to get by the Caps. To get by the Habs, the Canadians. And then this is a real good Islanders team, and you're playing with fire. You know what I mean? The power play was, it is what it is. There's no reason to talk about it anymore. Yeah, no reason to talk about it. It's not existent. I'm not sure if they can score. I said to you guys last night on a 5-on-1. You know what I mean? So I'm not sure. So it was what it was. You know what I mean? And Hart did everything I thought Hart did everything he could. You know what I mean? The defense wasn't great last night. There was a lot of, I don't say runouts, but you know what I mean. There's the first goal. You got to get that guy out of the front of your net. You got to check this. You got to get that guy out of there. And then the other two were just nobody there on the other side. You know what I mean? It was just two really fairly easy goals after with nothing really that kid could do. You know what I mean? So anybody putting it on him, that's shame on you guys. You know what I mean? There's plenty of blame to be going around. You know what I mean? And he's the guy of the future, and they're in good hands with him.
Absolutely. And I'm going to go, I haven't really thought of one, but I'm going to go I'm looking at the Flyers front office that we got to go. We need a goal scorer. I think it's pretty evident to anyone that's been watching the Flyers.
Snipe piece.
We need a guy that can put the puck in the net. We need a Jeff Carter type. Never was a big Jeff Carter guy, but we can use his skill level right now about putting the puck in the net. And I know someone's going to tell me we got Morgan Frost coming. We got these guys coming. That's all well and good. I want a guy that's established that we know when we plug him in, he's going to score 35 goals next year. And I know we had 5 guys with 20 goals. That's awesome. If you have a guy that scores 40, I think our top goal scorer had 24. So 5 guys with 20, but no one with over 24. Yep. We need more goal scoring. So I'm looking at you. So Crumb, I'm looking at Flyers front office. Got to get it done. Got to go get me a goal scorer in the offseason here.
Absolutely. I mean, you can't continue to run from it. I mean, the fact that people want to say, well, Drew this, Drew that. Well, the organization gave him a C a long time ago. And he was never going to be a guy who was going to 40, 45 plus you and be a sniper like that, right? So, and never like that true vocal leader per se. So it is what it is. And then comes with criticism. And I have no problem with Giroux. Like, I think if he played alongside somebody that can net you 40, 45, I think it's a different conversation. I
mean, let's be honest. He did it. He did one time when he was young, played with a guy, and a guy that was past his prime already, but a guy that was a great goal scorer in Jaromir Jagr, and Drew played amazing next to him. So why don't we go get a goal scorer?
He elevated Hartnell too. You know what I mean? He made Hartnell what he was. He made Simmons kind of what he was.
Yeah.
So you're right. In theory, we got to get somebody next to him that can put the puck in the net, that allows Giroux to then be Giroux instead of the onus to score goals be on him, because we obviously know that that's not his strong suit.
Yep. No, it isn't. It isn't a strong suit. Mine ties into the beginning of our show. I mean, it's the continued. It's Howie Roseman. It's continued misses. It's the continue of like, okay, I get it. You want to, admitting you're wrong is fine. Like, that's part of sports. Like, you got to admit you're wrong, and that's totally acceptable. But at the end of the day, you're admitting you're wrong on a lot of guys that you tried to sell to us too. You know what I mean? And for us to now, be not down the 5 corners, like, you don't need 25 of them. You know what I mean? You only need 4 that can really play, right? But just the way it's going about, it's not mind-boggling because the guys can't play, but it's just mind-boggling that we're even in the position where these are all your guys. These are all guys that you had here for, a few years at least. And now admitting that they're not good enough is fine, but we could have told you that. We could have told you that 2 years ago. You know what I'm saying? So that's sort of where I'm like, why is it taking you so long? And I guess you're trying to get some money off the books with some of these guys, and that's totally fine too. But it just seems like a lot of swing and misses. And I know you can hold yourself accountable and move on from guys, but I mean, how long can we sit back and just be like, okay, with what is transpired on draft day for this guy, and some of these guys he wants to go, like, why was Frenchie even getting an extension to begin with? When did he show he was a good enough corner at this level to deserve extension? No, he was he was like your 8th corner that year that finally got time to play and did okay, and then you inked them up. That's how that worked. That's exactly how that works. So you're the one who thought he was better than what he was. You know what I mean? You almost let the fans bring him back. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? So that's just some of my concerns, and they're never going to go away with him. And I don't want to totally crumb him too much, but he's got some crumb on him today.
Yeah, and it's,
look at that. Cravion LeBlanc being released. Let me just say that. So go ahead, Greg.
No, I was just going to say, look at that cornerback room now. There's one guy in there you drafted. Everybody else was signed or a free agent or signed or traded for. So again, going
Which
back
he
to
did as well, though.
No, absolutely. Yeah.
But I hear you.
No,
Listen,
no,
we
he
gotta
did,
start
but-
hitting.
but
We have to start hitting
when-
our draft picks.
Well, that's it. And
that's
when you're
fact.
$60 million over the cap, you got to hit on your draft picks because you can't have a whole secondary room of free agents.
No, you can't. Or undrafted guys that you thought are better than what they are. You know what I mean?
No,
Yeah.
you gotta be.
And that's just how it works. So, great show, boys. Ton of fun.
Great work out of you guys.
I'd like to thank our doc for coming on with us for a little bit, Dr. Paul
Yeah,
Vidal.
good to see you again.
Absolutely. Good to see the doc.
He could have got out of the leadoff double. He could have got out of that. You got to knock that ball down, man. Fuck.
Yeah, he did. You gotta knock it down.
So it really should be 2-1.
Yeah.
Still.
Yeah. Yeah. A chance
So
to get out of it.
Nola's battled considering
Yeah.
he hasn't had his best stuff. He's
That's what I'm
definitely
saying.
battled.
Leadoff double there. You got a chance to get out of it right there. Damn.
So, here's what it is. They're playing good baseball up until the last 2 days. So hopefully they can get back on the right track and not going to win every game, but they need to get back on the right track and not let this linger for too long. So
Absolutely.
ton of fun, boys. We'll see you again next Sunday.
Yeah, let's go
Hopefully-
Birds.
Hopefully after a big Eagles win, to get the show started, get the little 1-0 talk and move from there. But yeah, Rye already got to it. Howie Roseman crushed for a good 2 hours on this show. So plenty of crush for Howie Roseman to go around. Again, our doc, make him yours. That's Dr. Paul Vidal, Specialized Physical Therapy, LLC, Burlington, Cherry Hill, Princeton locations. For Tom Arnone, Nick DelGozzo, Brian Wilson, Greg Milakovic, everybody out there, join us. Thank you. Appreciate all the comments, questions, excitement for football season, and was hoping to give you some good live reactions on the Phillies. Not so much. So maybe a comeback's in store, but you got to get to a pen for that to happen.
Opening day Thursday. First game Thursday. Wow.
Yeah, crazy.
Yeah.
Well, Thursday
Coming
night
up, coming
football
quick. Coming quick.
Coming to you soon. All right, fam. Be safe. We out.